Yeah. Yeah. I know they mad for no reason. I'm holding on to change my life. Gotta move fast for a reason. I'm holding on to change my life. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Oh, 700K, I'm selling a Bitcoin. Haters mad, but they listen to this one. More profit coming to my direction. Yeah, you know me, I don't need a mention. I got the remedy, ooh, yeah. They don't just follow me, ooh, yeah. You say allegedly, ooh, yeah. You would subscribe to me, ooh, yeah. Staring at chart, drawing a line. Make a decision, you out of time. Huddling, huddling, huddling. I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah, huddling, huddling. I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah, see on stage, OnChain Revolution. Youngest, phone.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire crypto ecosystem. What's up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live for the OnChain Hour, and today kind of feels like we're working in a graveyard. It feels like everyone coming in is either dead or depressed. It feels like everyone in crypto right now is just like they don't want to be here, or they're just not into it, right? We're not seeing many users use the dApps. We're not really seeing much at all. It really is, it's not fun, guys. And sorry for being a Debbie Downer today. It's just kind of what I'm seeing. You know, we had CPI this morning, came in great. Everything looked good. Bitcoin pumped, you know, up to 112. And then, you know, stock market opened and, you know, they send us back down to 109. And then we're still fighting at just above 110. We do know next Wednesday we're gonna have the you know, the FOMC. We're expected to get a rate cut. Actually, we're more than expected to get a rate cut. We're almost guaranteed to get a 0.25 rate cut. So, you know, that's something that's already kind of baked in. And then on top of that, we're potentially going to go from quantitative tightening to neutral, and kind of sit there for a few months. But there's just nothing right now that's exciting. I found a few charts, though, that, you know, could get my hopes up a little bit if we can kind of follow past data. But, I mean, as we know, this cycle's been anything but, you know, the same as the past cycles. It's just been kind of ridiculous at this point. We're sitting in October, last week of October. Government is shut down, and that's what people are blaming on, you know, not getting the ETFs and stuff like that. But I'm almost getting to the point of bearish. And that actually might be a bullish sign for me because I've been bullish this whole time. So it's like one of those things where, who knows, man? Maybe me getting bearish is the final straw that breaks the camel's back for us to kind of start going up again. And so, and I'm not even talking about price. And that's one thing I want to get straight. Like when I talk about that, I'm getting bearish. I'm not talking about price. I'm just talking about the people here. Like, just go on Twitter. Like, it's insane. Like, I see the same 9 people tweeting. Like, I kind of wish there was a button on Twitter where I can unfollow everyone who hasn't tweeted in the last 6 months, and I'd probably lose like 1,000 or 2,000 people that I'm following. Honestly, that's how crazy it is right now. No one cares. Nobody's making money. You can't make money here. If you're holding runes, you can't make money. If you're holding ordinals, you can't make money. If you're holding DeFi, you can't make money. If you're holding DeFi AI, you can't make money. There's no area where you can actually make money right now. It's just holding anything is stupid. It really has. If you held anything from August till now, you lost. You lost money. But, you know, hopefully better times are ahead of us. Hopefully we start to move to a consistent level of people coming back. But that's not going to happen very quickly. That takes time. That actually takes more time than price. Like, you need Bitcoin to hit 150 just to get back to people that we lost probably from June, and not to mention people that we lost from like February. It's probably gonna take like a long time to get those people back. And then you want to say retail? Why the hell would retail come in here right now or anytime soon? Right? It's just, we have a lot of building to do We have a lot of, bringing confidence back. We have a lot of trying to create something here that can be sustainable. And that's going to take time, but it will happen. It will happen. I'm not quitting, but I am just feeling a little depressed right now. It's just not fun. So let's move to someone maybe a little bit less depressed than I am. Let's bring in my partner here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
So I just went on a rant, man. Let's see how you feeling right now.
Man, horrible. I hate life. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna bring that double down, smackdown. On. No, I'm just kidding. Look, I mean, a lot of the things you said are just factual, things, right? And so, I think we got to, be realist in this space right now and say, hey, look, October isn't playing out anywhere near what we thought. Up until 3 weeks into the month, right? We got a week left here, but there's still 2 months left, and we definitely need momentum. And to get that, you have to have consistency, and we just haven't seen that really all year. But it's almost kind of like one of the worst times to, I guess, get stagnant. Right? Because like we are officially in Q4. If you remember last October, that's actually when runes first started to pick up. It wasn't super energetic right off the bat, but by now people are like definitely, chatting about, hey man, like $1 billion cats on this move, and this rune is on this move, et cetera, right? So, what is it going to take for us to get back to like an environment like that? It's going to take consistency of, positive type of sentiment from the overall economy, this administration, and not, chopping down at the knees. That's what we've been going through all year. So like I'm still hopeful for the holiday seasons, right? There's 2 of them, Thanksgiving and Christmas for the US at least. And so I still can't picture a bloody picture, but you did say something in pre-show that you could picture possibly sideways. Even then, I think this administration knows what they have to lose if we finish the holiday season with not some sort of, really, at least not, it doesn't have to be super, exciting or super euphoric, but some sort of euphoria for the holiday season in terms of a economic outlook, I guess you could say.
Yeah, but we have a year to the next election, right? So as long as we pump, from May till October of next year, like they don't really care, in my opinion. They don't like Trump's willing to destroy the markets every week, coming out with these tariffs. I mean, raising 150% on China for tariffs, and that starts in 6 days unless they get a deal done, right? So it's like, I don't think he gives a shit about how the markets feel right now until next year.
Well, I think that, the holiday season is something where people will remember. You know what I mean? If they had like a horrible holiday season the first year in office, then they're going to hold on to that, unless he very quickly, like in January, February, starts to ramp things up. And, so that's what makes me think it's all about the midterms, right? In, sustaining, I guess you could say, for lack of a better word, control over, the 3 chambers of government. And so I think that that's important to a lot of people, especially the people that are going to be coming up behind him. Right. And so I don't know, that's just my thought process. But at the end of the day, October hasn't played out the way I thought, at least. And so maybe I'm not right about that.
Yeah. Well, you're saying holiday season, but what everyone else in the TradFi area calls it is the Santa Claus rally, right? And right now we have everything. We have everything at all-time high. We have the Nasdaq at an all-time high. We have the S&P 500 at an all-time high. We have the Dow Jones at an all-time high. I mean, heck, we have gold at an all-time high, right? So it's like, but like that's it. Like it's just like the top, 100 stocks, the top assets. None of that money is trickling down. And that's the problem. Everyone, all the rich people holding all the assets for a long time, they're all making money. Everyone else isn't. And it's one of those things right now where it's like, I don't think they're gonna sell anytime soon to create and then get, like, I just don't see why would they want to get risk on when they're making the money in the top assets.
I mean, you do have a point with that, but I think greed is a powerful thing, and if we do go
Yeah.
into quantitative easing, there's going to be smart people at that level that know how to turn their money into
Yeah.
more money, at a higher multiplier, and actually do it right, not gamble and risk and get out, because those people are in those positions and of wealth for a reason. They got there, so
Yeah.
they know to them risk on is a huge opportunity, but not all of them will take that. Some of them just like to be safe, right? But there are definitely people that will take that, and because at the end of the day, you don't want to start a movement among the masses, right? That's kind of like what got this current administration in office, right?
Yeah.
So if you get the middle class and lower class to because if they feel like they're getting slighted a ton, they're gonna gang up, and kind of do. Someone else will come out and say, hey, see, this wasn't what you guys thought or whatever. So they know that this is like a chess game as well. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, if it is truly what you're saying and it remains that way, then I think that like we're in a big a bad situation as a country for a
Yeah.
while then.
And don't get me wrong, like my mindset's probably messed up because I just haven't seen any positivity in over 2 months now. Like, how can you be positive when you don't see anything positive? Right. So it's like it's one of those things right now where it's like we got to start seeing a little bit of positivity now, whether that's on the timeline, whether that's through price action, or whether that's just through, seeing people like be interested again. We just need something like these next couple weeks to make me even think that a Santa Claus rally is possible for anything besides the large caps, right? Besides gold, besides some of this other stuff, or but you are right though. One thing you hit the nail on was the quantitative easing. We need to kind of get into a quantitative easing type of area. We need the DXY to drop. We need them to come in and start buying bonds out of the market, which is going to create less people coming in and buying bonds because they can get less yield for it, and they get into stocks. And people that are already in stocks are like, well, that's when we need to get more risky because they're going to come in and my Tesla is now up its all-time high. Where can I put my money at? What hasn't ran yet? Where can I put money at? And they will see crypto as an option. And then you have the ETFs coming online at that same time. And it's kind of like, okay, well, this is something new. Let me take some money out of NVIDIA and put it in, I don't know, XRP, right? But what that's going to do is that people holding XRP now feel like they have more money, and that trickle down. We haven't gotten that yet. And we don't have the ETFs.
Yeah. So I mean, there's some catalysts though,
There is.
still out there. So whether there could be this feeling of until we get the government turned back on, we got to make everybody kind of hurt that's in that area, and so I think that November 15th is way too long, and some people are saying even at the end of the month of November. I think that's ridiculous. You're talking about going into Thanksgiving like that. I don't know. They have to figure something out.
Yeah, and like the governor of Pennsylvania just came out on he did like
I
a
think you lost.
national.
Oh, sorry.
I'm
No,
here.
that was me.
You good?
My headphones. Sorry.
Yeah, so the governor of PA came out and he said, we had 3 weeks left of Snap before the Snap's goal, right before Thanksgiving too, right? So it's like, what is Jeffries and these guys going to come in, and because it doesn't seem like the Republicans are looking strong. They have nothing to lose right now. Like the people that are going to lose all their Snap benefits and stuff, they're the people who vote Democrat anyway. So, but yeah, man. All right, let's kind of get into the first thing here. CPI data shock, a Fed pivot to QE could ignite a massive risk on. Kind of what we're already talking about. Let's talk about the CPI today. U.S. inflation cools in September as CPI rises to 0.3. It rises 0.3 and 3% year over year, but both below forecast. So, yeah, we're basically getting, lower inflation, but it's not by much. But it is better than being higher. But now we have Jerome Powell speaking next Wednesday. We do want to, if we check Polymarket and we kind of see what Polymarket is going on. So Polymarket is showing that we are 97% chance of a 25 bip. So this is almost guaranteed. There is 100, almost, I'm going to say 100% guarantee that you put your money in here, you're going to win tiny bit of money, but you will win. So this is something that it's been looking really good for a while. We saw like 90% throughout the week, and now we're kind of seeing, you know, 97. It will probably be 99 by like Monday or Tuesday. It's just a lot of people kind of giving up on the 50 and the no change. You know, this right now, very risky bets, obviously. But then you kind of come in today, and we saw, like I said, we saw a run up to 112, and then we saw a pullback down to about 109, getting kind of strength again. We are seeing a lot of this other stuff kind of get beat up here. Agent Hustle getting beat up right now, Hype getting beat up, Aster, all like the really risk on stuff is really getting hurt right now. But you are seeing kind of gold kind of take the hit a little bit as well, so that's a good sign. But it was looking really good earlier. Merle just doing exactly what Merle's been doing, just up only. Congratulations to all Merle holders. This has been one of the strongest coins out there right now, so that's a good sign. You know, and then you know Bitcoin as well. We got some other charts to kind of look at. So Bitcoin has been on a sideways bullshit area, but let's take a look at this chart here. So this kind of happened similarly back in 2024. As you can see, Bitcoin just kind of went up and just sideways, boom, this entire time in this little slot. And then, you know, it did have this big, you know, liquidation event, and then climbed back up and then started crossing this and went up. We are kind of seeing the same thing here. We saw our liquidation event, very similar to here. So if this was the case, right, we do see, you know, probably within a month, we should be back up here. So the end of November, being back over to 300, you know, up pretty high here, and then start really moving up. And this is the crypto market cap, right? So in order to do that, though, we got our liquidation, hit the bottom, going back up, and then we're basically right back here again. And it does look like this is potentially could happen again. Then this will lead us all the way into July and August of next year, with the entire market cap being over 38, you know, potentially $3.8 trillion, which is something that would be amazing, right? And this is I think minus Bitcoin. So yeah, hopefully, but we'll see.
Yep.
What do you think about this correlation? It's all good.
Yeah, my headphones were something. It's only on StreamYard it wasn't working, so I had to restart. But yeah, so this is the correlation between the total crypto market and what?
Total crypto market from 2024 to 2025. It looks very similar to how it did last year.
Yeah. So
this is the big thing here. We had this big liquidation event. Then after the liquidation event, it was really just up only. So we had our liquidation event, and you know, according to my guy over here, Dr. Whale, he's basically saying parabolic season is coming, the same as last year. So it's the same playbook they're running as from last year.
Gotcha. Yeah, but you know, I think this is probably more for like, you know, accurate for like the blue chips, maybe. I don't know, because like here's the reason why I bring that up is because in October I did feel some of the risk on assets really starting to thrive. Right now, maybe we're just a little bit delayed. That could be part of it, right?
Well, look, this happened. This liquidation event happened here, right, and then up only from here. So
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess
I'm 2024, but this is 2020. This is messed up. He messed up here.
Oh, okay, that's what threw me off then. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking last year I didn't feel it as much for the risk on, but okay, yeah. So this makes more sense. Okay, I mean it looks very similar, right? And I'm hoping, like you just mentioned, I'm hoping that it repeats this similar situation. I can't remember exactly back then, because I wasn't really looking for all these degen plays or risk on plays, right? And so, but if that's the case, then that's good news, because eventually, what we could do. But then that would be kind of playing into going from 2020 to 2021, right? So, and then 2021 was a good year, so hopefully 2026 can repeat that.
Well, that's the thing too. I think that we're just a year out, right? So last cycle, the bull run year was 2021, a year after the halving. This time it could be 2022, 2 years after the halving, right? Which is kind of pushes everything back. But we've had a lot to happen to push back. You know what I mean? So could you see a time where maybe next November is the top? Would that ever cross your mind? And then we're really in a right translated cycle?
Possibly, just because this last election was so controversial, and it's almost kind of like you have to take a year to allow the world, not just the United States, but the world, to kind of accept what happened with that election. I expected some of that, just because it's a it's a very kind of I don't know how to explain it. I guess it's a huge event, right? What happened with like Trump coming back in, and there was like so much like in terms of world leadership and the U.S. leadership that was trying to go against it. So now you have like the system that didn't want someone to get into office. In my opinion, I feel like that was basically what it was. And then after he did, trying to kind of not make things easy, go smooth over, and the financial system's a part of that. Especially that he's a big supporter in crypto, or comes off to be, him and his family, right? So I think that this first year of his presidency is a big part of why we're not getting the bull run that we expect. And people can say, well, then maybe he shouldn't have won, or this and that and the other. But like, you couldn't have helped the fact that if he won, that everybody was going to push back. I mean, that's just how it was going to be. Especially the financial system. The world was run on this globalist type of system. You had your manufacturers, China, Vietnam, all those areas, India over there, and then you had the retailers, the resellers, the United States, Canada, a lot of Europe and the EU at least, right? And so that got broken. That was broken. And so that breaks the stock market. That breaks not necessarily sends everything down, but it changes the system up. You can't just go into risk on easily, because now it's kind of like what's happening, all these things. So I think this first year of his presidency is the biggest factor of what threw everything off this year.
Yeah. And look, if you can look back to his last presidency, right, 2016, we know there's a halving, in 2016, and it took a whole year and him being president before crypto really took off, right? 2017 was a year, it didn't really peak until 2018, right? So it was just like it really didn't start going up until the back end of the year. It didn't start going up until November, December, and it ended up peaking in January and February. I mean, Bitcoin peaked in December, but everything else kind of peaked in February.
Yeah,
I mean, 2018. So
yeah, very, very true. And so we could just get that year pushed back kind of situation. Because I mean, if anybody's paying attention to what's happening with society in the world, everybody knows that like it's not smooth right now. Like there's this, you know what I mean? Everything, the way the world operated is they're trying to figure out this new way of operation.
Yeah, 100%. And that kind of jumps into President Trump just pardoned a CZ from Binance. It's funny enough, we talked about this on the show yesterday, and I had this weird feeling in my head, just coming off the timeline, right? So I was reading the timeline, people were kind of talking about this, so it felt like something was already kind of like boiling maybe when I was reading stuff. But so after our show ended yesterday, he came out and he basically pardoned CZ. CZ's not in jail. Right, so pardoning CZ in my head doesn't make any sense, unless this is just a rumor. This is just something that's in my head, and maybe I'm crazy for this. But what if Binance has been dumping crypto all year long? Every chance they get, they're sending as much crypto as they possibly can send to Wintermute. And what if that they end up, telling Eric Trump and said, "Hey, we know that you have $400 billion or whatever your net $4 billion or whatever your net worth is in crypto, and we do know that you guys want to tokenize real estate, but if you guys want the number to go up, you want us to stop dumping, we need CZ's name clean. We need 100% pardon." Right? And maybe Eric takes us back to his dad and says, "Hey, they keep sending to Wintermute, they keep dumping the price, they're not going to let it go up until you pardon CZ." And now that kind of gets in his head, and he kind of sits at his desk and he's just like, "All right, let's just do it." He's not in jail anyway. And then you have Elizabeth Warren come out yesterday, and she has some bullshit saying he pled guilty, but in reality, he only pled guilty to basically making mistakes, right? Not real money laundering, but actually just I forget what the exact definition of his charges were.
Secret.
But he only did
secret.
yeah. He only did 3 months, right? Like that was it. It wasn't like he did a year or anything. So charges weren't that crazy. But now he's completely pardoned, he's completely free. But what do you think about that theory of potentially Binance just saying we're not sending the price up until ZZ is free?
Even if that was a possibility of truth, which I think it would be a really I don't know. I mean, entertaining for sure, but I think they would communicate it differently. They would be like, hey, look, I mean, we know that you guys, are a big part of the crypto, trying to push it. We support that. If any way possible, we would like to see if you can help out to get CZ pardoned. I think that would be more of the conversation than kind of strong arming, because I don't think that, like, I just don't think that would get them. I don't think that would get them the pardon. You know what I mean? I don't think it would. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying
Because
that they didn't say it in a nice way.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just saying in reality, that's the point, right?
Maybe if that is, then that's also kind of messed up the way that they've kind of
Dude, they've been
blackmailed the
dumping.
crypto space.
Well,
You
think
know?
about this, right? So if crypto goes up, who makes money? Binance. Binance is going to make
Yeah.
more money than anybody. People coming online, new users, new people coming into the space, buying crypto. So why do they want? Why have they been dumping from February till now? There's no other reason. There's no other reason for them to just constantly just be dumping. And they're getting to the point where they're almost out of crypto. They're getting to the point where, if you look at they're at the lowest they've been since 5-6 years ago. When it comes to assets managed, and whether that's, I think it's because obviously Wintermute is something in the newer. It's been only like 2 or 3 years old, and it's been something we haven't had market makers like this before. So that could be something that they're just trying to offload and kind of sit on cash. But Binance is sitting on more cash than they ever have, and they're sitting on the least amount of crypto they ever had. Binance has enough money to come into the market right now and rebuy everything that they just sold very, very cheap and actually be the winner again going into next cycle.
I mean, maybe that's the plan. You know what I mean? Maybe that's the plan, is that, like, hey, look, you can't always have, like, go up, and so to be prepared and to have a really strong, bull run whenever it's time, we're gonna be a big part of that. You know what I mean? And help push the space forward by reacquiring, whatever assets, et cetera, right? Maybe that's the case. I don't know. But do I think it's a good thing that he got pardoned? Probably for the space, because now he can feel like he can go back and forth. He could do that anyways, I think, or maybe
Yeah.
not, because was it considered a felony? I think it might have been. Yeah, because like he got 4 years, like as in the sentence, right? So, and then yeah, of course I saw Elizabeth Warren had to come out, and she knows nothing about nothing. She knows nothing. She knows nothing about crypto. She knows nothing about nothing. But yeah, I mean, that's the whole anti-crypto army and stuff. But look, I think having him being able to come and go freely to the U.S., and if the U.S. is going to truly be the crypto capital of the world, then this is a good thing. I don't know, man. Like right now, it's just kind of like all the stuff that is going on in the space. It's like everybody wants to point a finger, for sure. Like we've been through those times. You can scale it down to like a project, and the community of the project, starts dumping. People look for who did it, who's shorting, who's doing this, who's selling. And I feel like this is another kind of example of that. And yes, they are selling. You can see that they're sending things to Wintermute, right? But a lot of, they're saying that a lot of percentage of that is their customers' crypto as well. So that's what Binance is coming out and saying. I don't know.
Yeah. We'll see what happens here, but let's just say we start flying up from now on. What if Binance completely stops sending to Wintermute? Is that just is that coincidence?
I mean, the timing too, though. It's at the end of October, so it's like, can you correlate that, or is it more of, you know what I mean? So I don't know.
Coinbase, Ripple, and Gemini listed as donors to President Trump's $300 million White House ballroom. And then he did say yesterday that somebody came in and said, hey, they gave him a check for $130 million to pay for the military basically paychecks to keep them going since the government shut down. So the military is still getting paid now, thanks to a donor. He didn't say who that donor was. Could that have been CZ?
Oh, so there you go. I feel like that might be more likely.
Yeah, so there's two things there. Did CZ pay for it? And that's what Warren said, pay to play, huh?
I mean, I don't want to know, honestly. I just kind of, at this point, it's kind of like, okay, well, the administration right now can kind of use this as leverage too. Like, hey, we're getting the troops paid while you guys are keeping the government shut down. So I don't know, man. I don't know what's good and what's bad for the space anymore. It's just like, I can tell you where I think Bitcoin's going for the weekend.
Well, yeah, we'll find out that real soon. A couple things here. So, Polymarket CEO Matthew Modabber has confirmed plans to launch a native Poly token and an airdrop as the predictions market action heats up. Bloomberg reported that Polymarket is exploring fresh funding at a valuation up to $15 billion. So they're coming out saying, "Hey, we're taking this funding as tokens. We're not going the IPO route. We're going the full token route." This came out just yesterday. So Polymarket right now, if you go to something like CoinMarketCap, Polymarket at 15 billion valuation, they're probably going to be sitting at around what top 20, I think. So let me take a second look at this. So they will be sitting at number 12, right behind Hyperliquid, Polymarket. How do you feel about that valuation?
I think it's warranted. I think it's right. But let me ask you this: why do you think he wants to do this? Why do you think he would rather do this?
The same reason why the base chain wants to do a coin, so they can say they're decentralized. So basically, when you have a coin and your coin is governance, you can take your governance token and then you pass the Howey test. And let's just say the team owns 30-40% of this token. They can stake their own token and earn the fees. So let's just say the stakers now are going to be getting the fees, not the holders, but the stakers, the people who stake the token now potentially going to be the ones getting the fees. And with them, holding 40% of the token or whatever their supply is, they're still going to get the majority of the fees. But I think this is a way to kind of get around Hester Pierce and what she's trying to do and saying, hey, you have a year or 2 years to get decentralized before you can call yourself a decentralized company. And if they want to stay a decentralized blockchain application or DApp, then they need to do this sooner than later.
Yeah. So I think that has definitely something to do with it. But I also think as the digital asset infrastructure is being set, this is going to be a way to also onboard new users. It's going to be a great marketing strategy. It's been used in Web3, but that's within the crypto Twitter in Web3 communities, which is not big. But once this starts to grow, and Polymarket's in mainstream media, so once it starts to grow, it's a great way to onboard new users and be like, hey, look, you can get an airdrop of the token. Airdrop sometimes for early adopters can be huge amounts, depending on how much you use it. So I think this might be a marketing strategy in the future for mainstream to get mainstream people on as well.
Yeah, no, I agree, for sure. And then, let's just say you do a couple bets, you get potentially a couple $100, right? So that could be a thing too. It's like, hey, now you're gonna have people farming this. And people farm it, you're going to have more and more people not worried about losing money because they just want to do as much volume as they can to potentially get a bigger airdrop. And if they win the bet's awesome, but they don't care. In reality, they're just trying to farm the token to get a big piece of this without paying for it.
Yeah, and you can also do other types of stuff and roll it in, like, that's not traditional. Well, it's traditional in Web2. For example, like on a sports betting site, when you first sign up for your account for first, you get like a 150% bonus. Well, you could do like 10 coins per dollar or whatever, you'll get airdropped for every dollar you spend for the first week of using the app or whatever, what I mean? So there's so many different things. And I think of that because I see CMO, right? So the chief officer is the one that's kind of saying, hey, look, this is going to happen. And so that's exciting because there'll be more offerings, and who's going to hear about those first? It's going to be us and you guys listening in, because until mainstream is fully adopted, the space, so you guys are going to learn about this. I feel like we're going to see more and more of these opportunities from big companies that are on their way to success.
Yeah, 100%. And there's rumors that they're going to be creating their own stablecoin, so where when you deposit in, no matter what you deposit, it's going to come in as the stablecoin. So that could be something as well. Right now they're using USDC, but a Polymarket stablecoin could be really big for them because then they get to hold the money in the back end and earn that 4% yield using bonds. Right, so they get another way for them to be earning. So that seems to be what everyone wants to do right now. They want to basically earn money off your money. Just because you put $1 million in there, now they can earn 4% off your $1 million, but you're just in there betting. right? So it doesn't even matter to you because it's a deposit system. So we'll see if they do something like that down the line as well.
Yep.
All right. So this is pretty funny. JPMorgan plans to allow institutional clients to use their holdings, Bitcoin and Ethereum, as loan collateral by the end of this year. This is a global program that will rely on third-party custodians to safeguard. So they're going to be using Coinbase as their custodian here to hold the Bitcoin and the Ethereum. But now, if you want to buy a house and you want to take a loan from JPMorgan, you want to take a loan on a business, you can just put up your Bitcoin. But the best part about this is the guy who runs JPMorgan. He has been a Bitcoin hater for the last 14 years, calling it a pet rock, saying it's shit, saying he likes crypto technology, but he hates Bitcoin. And now he's saying, hey, you know what? You can take a loan against your Bitcoin, or, you can come put it up for a collateral against your home and stuff like that. So how do you feel about JPMorgan coming into the collateral game?
I think it's funny, right? Like he's gonna probably not even mention it. People are gonna bring it up to him, but he's probably gonna try to dodge it somehow. But it's funny. I think it's kind of I don't know. Like I love that they're doing this basically, right?
Yeah.
So it's probably different parts of the leadership that's saying, hey, we got to do this or we're going to be behind or whatever. But Bitcoin borrowing and lending is going to be huge. It's a huge industry. If JPMorgan, the guy that Jamie Dimon, the guy that hated Bitcoin, is coming on board, then expect even large, maybe not larger, but similar entities to come on board with this.
Yeah, and the only part of this that scares me is the fact that they'll know everyone's liquidation number, where, you know what I mean, in the sense of they want to, let's just say we get to a time, let's just say 2032 or whatever, and they're just like, yeah, let's get as much Bitcoin as we can, and what's an easiest way to do it? Well, let's take the price down so we can liquidate people, and we just take their Bitcoin. So this is something that they've done for years when in the housing market, right? They took a lot of people's houses in 2008. When the housing market crashed, that was one of the biggest things. People don't really talk about that. A lot of people have their houses up as collateral for different things. And when the housing market hit a certain point and your house wasn't worth as much as it was supposed to be used, you either had to add collateral, which a lot of people couldn't, or they took your house. And that's what happened in 2008. And potentially they could do the same thing here with your Bitcoin.
Yeah, they could. I didn't really think about that. That would be a horrible situation.
100%. All right. So this is pretty funny. The trader who made $190 million 2 Fridays, was that 2 Fridays ago? Yeah. Before Trump's tariff announcement, also bet $56,000 on Polymarket that CZ would be pardoned. How do you feel about this? The same guy who had the inside information before Trump was about to speak, he actually put 56K on CZ getting pardoned in 2025. He won a lot of money off this Bombay. He won like another $1 million of this, which, I mean, 190 million, and he's just kind of playing around. But people are saying that wallet belongs to Barron Trump. Again, just a rumor. I have no idea if it's true or not. But how do you feel about that? About all this right now? This is just, we're living in a corrupt world, bro.
Yeah, it's bad. Yeah, I mean, goodness gracious. I mean, like with the hyperliquid stuff is already like pretty bad. I mean, that CZ pardon bet was out there though for a while, right? So
Yeah, it's been all year.
So I mean, it's not like it's just kind of came out of nowhere. So that one isn't as bad as the but did he hit it by a date? Was there like a specific date it said on the thing?
December 31st. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I don't want to get like too into it because I feel like I'm not there yet, but it's getting there. I'll tell you that. It's like it's inching there.
I don't know. For me, it's there. I'm getting to the point of kind of getting disgusted if that is someone from his administration or his family or something like that. But let's move along though. We got something pretty cool. So this is really awesome. It's a video. It's like 3 minutes, but it goes by very quick. So CoinbaseDev made real payments with MCP, giving AI agents access to wallets, on-chain payments like user human data. So let me make sure the volume's up on this one. But this is actually really, really cool. So I'm going to show it. All right, so let me know if you can hear this.
Hey guys, it's Amanda
Yep.
from CDP, and I am super excited to tell you about our new product, Payments MCP, which is a application that runs on your machine. It runs an MCP server and a wallet companion application that allows your AI agent to discover, pay for, and use premium data endpoints that it otherwise would not have had access to because it wouldn't have any way to have paid for them because it didn't have a wallet. But now it does with Payments MCP. So pretty much you can log in with your email address, no seed phrase, no private key necessary. It's super easy. And fund the wallet using Coinbase on-ramp, or you can just send yourself USDC on Base. And then you can start using the app. Like literally I can just close this window and be like, what's in the bazaar? And Claude will look up all the stuff, all the resources that it knows about, that it has access to, and all the metadata about those resources. And there's a lot of, again, there's quality scores, there's, input output schemas. So Claude has access to this list of resource endpoints. So let's use some. So what Claude is going to do under the hood here is it's going to go through its list of available resources and say, what would be useful for me to fulfill this request that's been made, right? And it is just making inferences on its own. And it's paying for this data on its own via the Payments MCP wallet companion. So we can actually see, you can open it up and see how it's going, see what it's doing. The other thing that's really neat is that over here we have something called spending limits. And so it's like a budget that your agent needs to stay within. So your total session spending limit means that for any given request at any time, do not spend more than this amount until you reset it or top it up. For this one, max spend allowed per API call. Do not choose a resource that costs more than this. Maybe you think the data that you're willing to pay for costs more. You could increase the max spend, and it wouldn't, unilaterally block out endpoints that cost more. So it's a nice guard. It's like a really cool guardrail. You as the user are fully in control of how your funds get spent here. So it went through, it got the news, it got trending tokens, and it got some project info. And I guess it pulled in some stuff from like the regular web, right? Some data that's just available. And here's our AI token market report for Chain Opera AI. This is all data that it's coming from like a Gloria AI news feed, from Twitter. Here's the data sources, and that's it. So like you can imagine that this has sort of endless possibilities depending on what resources are available and what you want to do. But if it's there, if it's an endpoint that can be used and it can be paid for, the agent can now use it. So I'm really excited to see what people do with this, and I hope you all enjoy.
All right, what do you think? You're on mute.
I'm trying to figure out how you would use this, right? Because if you pay for an endpoint, let's say for your agent, right, pays for an endpoint for trending tokens. Now, is that agent able to use that endpoint and then come up with, trending tokens and what they think is like a good option? Also, do you have to, is that now endpoint embedded into your agent? Those are questions I have. And how did you comprehend that?
Yeah, so basically, I got it as pretty simple. Now, so what she was doing is she was just just using it for APIs and stuff like that. But now your AI agent, he can basically go do whatever he needs to do, right? Let's just say you want to get a fantasy football cheat sheet, but you have to pay for it, right? I feel like the agent now can just do it all on its own. Just say, hey, who's the top 20 players according to so and so, Matthew Berry.
Yeah.
And now it can go and purchase that for you without you actually having to do it. And then now it has that data, and now you can ask it those questions. I feel like now you're giving access to it to be able to do anything with anything that has an API. It can now purchase that API for you, and then have that information all in the back end waiting for you to hit it with a question with new information.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's amazing. Number one. Number two, is this a product that the agent wise, or do you have to have your own agent and connect it to this?
All Coinbase did was give these Claudes and stuff a wallet. It's all
Claudes,
they did.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's Claude, it's ChatGPT, any type of. So you have to just go to the Coinbase thing. You have to you load in whatever one you want to use, your one, and Coinbase gives it a wallet. So now you can say potentially, hey, buy me, go on eBay, find me the cheapest Charizard, PSA 9, and purchase it. And Claude would just go, or ChatGPT would just go, can do that for you now, right? As long as like that, the other side of it takes crypto. So in a sense of, you would say, go to Magic Eden and purchase this for me, right? So now you're basically, every wallet now is kind of very similar to how Agent Hustle works, without really, you still have to deposit. It's like she basically did the same thing Agent Hustle is, but it's just funny. Agent Hustle was just so far ahead of them. Now you're seeing Coinbase come out with their own.
Yeah. That's awesome. I wonder also if Hustle can get some custom endpoints as well, maybe from the team or whatever, to focus a little bit, get even more concentrated. But yeah, I mean, this is huge. I think this is something that is changing the game, that is for sure. And AI agents is gonna be a huge focus, I think, of our space.
Yeah, 100%. All right, let's kind of get into the next thing here, which is the crypto fear and greed. Not looking great today, but who really knew? Sitting at 32 fear. I'm not even going to make a guess anymore. It's just not fun. You know what I mean? It's just so we're sitting at 32. Yesterday was a 28. Last year was a 28. Like, this is just depressing. So let's move along with this quickly as we possibly can. And let's get into the Bitcoin price action and crypto bubbles, which is probably also depressing. But brought to you by nobody. But let's get into that.
Yep, let's do it. All right, before we get into the price action here on the YouTube side, smash that like, subscribe to the channel, all that great stuff. Turn your notifications on, and X2. Let's share the space. Let's get people in here that are here, and get in and try to learn together. All right, let's take a look here at the price action here. All right, you see Bitcoin sitting at basically 110, right? It's right under 110, 109,970 is the price. You can see that rise up that started Wednesday on the hour chart, and we wicked up this morning at 7 a.m. only to come back down here, right? So got up to 112. So we knew that Friday was going to be volatile just because CPI data, and also, there are some options expiring and stuff like that. But, the CPI data is the thing, right? I guess they didn't like it for risk on as much. You see the stock market kind of did well with that data. But yeah, let's take a look here at what the momentum is telling us, right? The momentum is telling us that we're going to, probably have a little bit more bleed down. It felt good to be above 110, but it looks like we probably going to head back below there, right? And see if we can maybe just hover right below there, or see if it wants to continuously bleed. Let's take a look at the support and resistance levels as well. All right, let me squeeze in here. All right. Yeah, just it's not much volume in these areas, but you do see the resistance kind of winning where we are right now, at least at the 110. Above that, it's more balanced pretty much the entire way until you get to this little bit more volume area at the 110,500. So yeah, you know what, guys, honestly, probably just a bit of a chop, in my opinion, just a little bit, going below 110, hanging around in that 109, in between 109 and 110, unless we have some headlines come in that decides it wants to take it down further. So that's, what I'm seeing right now on the 1 hour. That should give us a pretty good preview for the rest of today. The 4 hour looks like the buy pressures is starting to exhaust as well. So probably more chop as well for the 4 hour as well there. Let's take a look at the daily. And the daily is the one that I've been looking at, right? So, I mean, it's inching there. It looks like it wants to be done with the sell pressure, but the sell pressure was pretty intense. You can see right here, comparing to the other sell pressures that we saw in the recent past, this one has been way more intense, but it looks like it wants to close up. So if we can get, a bullish Sunday, maybe to kind of close this up, that would be great. But that is what Bitcoin looks like, right? And Ethereum is going to be very similar. So you can just kind of go through all the time frames here, and see very similar action here, right? So still kind of wants to sell down on the hour, so probably see that chop. Same thing from Ethereum as well. 4 hour looks like it's starting to exhaust, just like Bitcoin, and then the daily is going to be very similar to where it wants to close up. So that is where Bitcoin and Ethereum are, guys. The alt market looks kind of okay, surprisingly. It's more of like a 60% to the upside, 40%, maybe more 50-50 actually. But KiteAI is still on a crazy runner. It's up 34.1% today. Virtuals is up 16%. So maybe that AI news and the AI has been kind of a main focus here. Pump is up 4%, probably because they acquired Padre, right? So that makes sense. WillFi up 6.2%. Mix, the perps and leverage DEX on Binance Smart Chain is up 15.8%. Hex is up 5.2% there. And then Bitcoin Cash, out of all things, is up 2.9%. Some of the stuff that pulled back, Pancake Swap pulled back 6.6%. Tau down 2.5%. And then you got Meme Core down 2.1% with BNB pulling down 2.7%. XRP up 2.8% there. Let's look at the top 200 here. Merlin up 12.2%, sitting at 40 cents. Crazy. Fartcoin up 5.3%. Pulse Chain up 5.4%. H up 56.6%. Ape up 17.3%. You got Brett up 5.2%, and DYDX up 3%. Wonder if that had to do with a little bit of the news with that Polymarket perps that they're going to be firing up soon. But yeah, that is Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the bubbles for you guys. Hopefully that helps.
Yep. Great job, man, on that. Let's kind of get into the next thing here, which is always fun with some, so we'll get through the roll call, the comments here. Let's see what you guys are talking about in the chat. First is first on the show. We take the first comment of the show and we put it to a spreadsheet. Let's find that spreadsheet here. We got Tim Baker, AODR himself. Congratulations, you win number 20 on the year. Tim's just been, the second half beast, man. Really coming in here. He could potentially win third place. I think Danny Boy is in third right now with 38 or something like that. So it's definitely anyone's race for third place, but we'll see what happens with that. Shout out to Tim Baker. And let's kind of get into the rest of the comments here. We got Hydro Sapien is here, my boy. He said, now let's go to the moon. Shout out to you, my friend. Tim for the win. ASAP Benji is here. Bitcoin is truth is here. Abstract. Kane, Abstract Invader Time. I can't go another month like this. Oh, I hear you, man. Spindrift is here. Not Satoshi Nakamoto is here. The guy who created Bitcoin. Watch the show. Appreciate you, my friend. K99 is here. Patty Poo. OnePlus@ is here. Chief Axel. Stan the man. Appreciate you, my friend. Stan said, should we bet on all the crypto projects that are funding the White House? Honestly, yeah. I mean,
that might be the play.
It might be the play. But shout out to every single one of you guys who makes roll call each and every day. Appreciate you guys. Yep, that is there's not many people in the roll call. Man, dude, roll call is sad. It's very sad right now. But yeah, let's move on. So there's a new infrastructure play called KiteAI, the first AI payment blockchain backed by PayPal Ventures. It's actually kind of really cool. You brought this to my attention this morning. I started checking it out here, but this is it right here. And if you go to the site kite.ai, it's the first AI payment blockchain. Again, AI payments blockchain. It seems to be something has all the buzzwords for sure. How do you feel with this one?
Yeah, I mean, PayPal's kind of backing this, right? So I think this is something to pay attention to at least. I'm not sure if there's probably not going to be any type of degenning or anything like that happening there, right? So
yeah.
But yeah, the fact that they're backing a blockchain, a complete blockchain in itself, I think that they're trying to make a mark in the space and say, hey, look, we are the king of payments in Web 2, and we want to keep that reputation in Web 3. And it's going to be hard for them to be the leader because there's so many that are native to this space, but they've been doing their due diligence. They dropped their own stable coin, and so this is kind of like a not surprising announcement because they're here to kind of adopt.
Yeah, 100%. San Francisco, so they're out there. Is this a TradFi company, you think, coming into, or is this, do you think it's crypto native? I mean, PayPal Ventures, they got some pretty big players here. What do you think?
Well, yeah, Animoca brands, dude. Like, how are they
Yeah.
in everything? That's so crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Layer
Um,
Zero, same thing, right? They're going to be
yeah,
probably be bridging the, you can bridge in, bridge out through Layer Zero.
yeah. I actually think this is, you see Samsung there, so that is
Mhm.
another recognizable name from Web 2. But like, I think that you should be paying attention to those that are from Web 2 that are in a mix of like Web 3 investment companies and stuff, because that means that they are coming along while some of their competitors in Web 2 are saying, I don't believe in it or whatever. So just something to pay attention to, I think.
100%. The next thing here I have is Aster Dex buyback announcement. So Aster has came out and said, they're currently is in season 3, which is S3, and they're targeting 70-80% of the fees are going to Aster buybacks. This is absolutely huge because the token has been beaten down. Let's take a look at the token here. Aster token is at $1.06 even after the buyback announcement. How crazy is that? Why do you think Aster is so beaten down right now? I mean, the chart just looks really bad. I'm on the weekly. Let me go to the daily, and then before I show you guys, I kind of give a really good set of like what has happened with Aster. But let me show it. We do know that Aster is something that's not listed yet on a lot of the exchanges. It's on Binance, not on Coinbase or Robinhood yet, but that's probably going to come now. The Hyperliquid is on Robinhood. But how do you feel about Aster right now? Is this a buy at $1?
I think it could be. It probably is, honestly, because when you look at charts of tokens that launch and we're not in the middle of a bull run, they're always looking like this. They're always this really strong peak, and then you have a big dump that follows afterwards. And then if it goes into a bull market, you could possibly see another all-time high. So that's why I think it could be an opportunity. But that is if we get in the aggressive bull run type environment, maybe to end this year. Maybe it's going to be next year. Who knows? Like the whole 4-year thing is jacked up right now, but with that being said, I think that CZ and Binance definitely want Aster to succeed, and so I expect another all-time high in the future. I just don't know when.
Yeah, I agree. I'm right there with you. I think this is going to be, look, we're going to look back at this in about 6 months from now, and we're going to be like, holy crap, I can't believe Aster was $1.06. I think this Aster can get to, between $10 and $20. I really do. I think we're going to see it up that high. You got to remember, CZ has tweeted 3 coins his entire time on X, right? One was Bitcoin, the next one was BNB, and the third one was Aster. He's not going to let this fail. He's not going to let, this is going to look like a blimp, right? We're not even going to, this ain't going to be noticeable, this dip that we have, because it's going to be just looking like this while you see potentially a road to $13, $14, and $15 by next April, May. And you guys know that's my target. I'm actually going to circle this and come back to it in a couple months. But I think Aster around this time is going to be in here. Do you see that? Do you see potentially $11, $12 for Aster in April of May of next year?
Sometime, I don't know about when next year, but probably sometime next year if we have that bullish environment. So yeah, but I could see around that price probably, right? So new all-time high type situation is what I would look for with them. I do think it's opportunity right now though, but it's like it's hard to say that, right? Because people are like, with what money?
Yeah,
what I mean?
That's even, you can even hear it on the voice of like some guys like what's his name from X, what's that guy's name, the real arrogant guy, you know what I'm talking about.
Nick?
No, not Nick. He has a huge YouTube following.
Alex Becker.
Becker. Even him, you're kind of seeing him kind of say like he can't buy the dip anymore than he's already have, right? He's multi-millionaire. He has like Web 2 businesses, right? And he's saying he can't even buy the dip anymore. So he's just kind of holding there. But I mean, yeah, it's kind of beaten down right now. Coinbase put out an announcement. They said we're scheduled a Coinbase upgrade for October 25th at 7 a.m. PT. So that'll be tomorrow. So if you guys, just make sure if you guys do anything on Coinbase, make sure you do it today. If you do anything tomorrow around like 11, 12 Eastern time, it's not going to work. So make sure you guys are good to go. If you do have to do anything on Coinbase, that we shut down for 4 hours on a Saturday. I guarantee you they pump the markets during this time. How funny would that be if Binance just goes and they just pump the markets on a Saturday and no Coinbase user can get in and play?
Or they can't. Yeah, they can't sell and take out, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could happen. Could happen. I don't know, man. Like, I don't even want to think about all the manipulation and stuff. I feel like that's like,
that's all this.
just takes me down like a dark road.
Ugh. All right. Axiom now partners with BNB. So we do know Axiom is one of the biggest tools out there for Solana users. This is how you snipe. This is how you kind of can get into things real early, set stop limits and stuff like that. But how do you feel about this? And have you used it yet?
I have used it, and it's way better experience. And I mean, they launched yesterday, so I had to test it out. But using your MetaMask wallet, you get stuck on trades just because you're not, it's turning up the gas so much. You like Axiom handles all that stuff for you, so you get in and out. So with that being said, this is kind of like the natural evolution of turning their trenches into the Solana trenches, because you get the bot platforms like Axiom to be able to onboard people and use the fast trading, and then next is going to be bundle tools and stuff like that. So yeah
100%.
Yep.
So Axiom is is this something you think that's going to be used a lot? Do you think maybe a lot of BNB guys were actually telling Axiom, like, when are you guys going to get BNB? It's been like 3 weeks now since BNB got hot. But how do you feel with that? Do you think that was kind of why they did it here?
I think it was the demand that BSC showed, yes, but I think it was more of the Solana guys. I think more of the Solana guys were like, hey, add Axiom or whatever, because they're getting caught up. Because like, you have to think that people that have been using BSC, a lot of them actually have bots in their telegrams, sniper bots in their telegrams. So they have their ways of doing it, but just the Western people, I think, wanted this more than anybody probably.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see that. All right, the next thing here, Pump Fun said screw you, Axiom, and they went and they built their own version. They built Padre. I never heard of Padre. Did you hear Padre before today? Basically very similar to Axiom. It seems like you create an account, you get in, you get up to 35% cash back, fastest execution, full control. So Pump did it. It's just funny too, because Pump put out there that we've acquired Padre, and Padre's like, hey, we partnered with Pump Fun. So I don't know which one is true. I'd probably Pump Fun threw money at them, but so potentially you're going to be, when you're using Pump Fun in the future, you're going to basically have a Padre interface right there, so you won't have to go to Axiom and stuff. You can use it right through Pump Fun.
Yeah, they probably want to keep those fees home. And then also, the 35% cash back thing, that is humongous, because people have been basically yelling and shouting to Pump Fun, hey, give back to the user somehow. So I think this is one way that they can say, okay, well, you get 35% of your losses back or your money.
Yeah, 100%. And then the last thing here is someone using a $300 miner, I guess you would say, basically won $347,000. How do you feel about this right now? How do you feel about
at least some of the little guys are winning, right?
Yeah. Well, now I hope he goes and he buys like a bunch of JPEGs when he puts it all in dog. That could be funny, but yeah. So congratulations to anyone. Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought about potentially getting yourself a little mining machine and doing some Bitcoin mining just in case? Have one running.
I've thought about it. The percentages are obviously low, but we've heard, multiple times, I think the past 2 years, of a single miner winning. So it happens.
It happens like it's happening like every other month or every month. I feel like it's once a month now. You're seeing these miners win. So when you open a miner, you have two options. You can join a pool like Spider or Ant and all these other pools, or you can solo mine. So back in 2009, 2010, 2011, you could basically solo mine from your computer, and you had really a chance of winning. There's probably only like 800 or 900 miners online back then, and everyone's like solo mined. And then people were like, hey, what if me and you put our computers together and then we can win more blocks together? So then people started doing these pools, And so the 2 people became 3 people, 3 people became 90 people, and that was some of the first pools that those pools were winning because they were getting like 50% of the hash power. And then bigger pools came online, and then more and more people came online too, and just were winning and winning and winning. But it's very rare a solo miner has won. Back then, it was like every 10 blocks, solo miner would win. Now it's like every 4,000 blocks, but it's still kind of cool to kind of see.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool to know that like someone hit that, right? Because the odds. But for me, I don't think I would do it just because I don't want the headache of it. But hey, if you're out there, you can hit a block and win what, $350,000.
Yeah, man. And you're helping the network in a way too, right? So even if you don't, you're still putting hash. You only need one miner in the world to stay online, and Bitcoin still produces blocks. So all right. I guess the last thing I was gonna do is a trenches update, but it does look like the trenches are pretty damn dead. Damn, did that one coin go to 20K? Holy crap! So they stopped streaming. So before the show, me and Yagobi were messing around and got into something called Solana Fighting Club Championship, and it was like these dudes box. What happened to the stream? It went offline?
I guess so. I guess they just stopped. Yeah. So I mean,
dead.
Perfect state of the trenches, I guess. That's what's going on right now. So
if it comes back online, do people rebuy it?
Yeah, I don't know.
No.
It's hard to come. I mean, sometimes the streamer ones can, but it's
They've
right
never
now.
sold.
Yeah, right now it's really hard for anything to catch momentum and sustain. We were having some momentum late last week and then early this week, I think it was that. Yeah. And then it got shut down, or maybe it was last week. Sorry, I was thinking about last week. We had momentum in the trenches for a while, like coins were bonding, things were happening, but Bitcoin was also moving, right? And so when Bitcoin got hit at the knees and fell down, all that momentum in the span of, I would say, about 2-3 days just went out the window. So I mean, you can't get degen risky if Bitcoin is at down $5,000 from where it was. It's just not, and it's like the sentiment is what moves these markets, and the sentiment is the sentiment right now, and it's not like a very aggressive, a positive sentiment. It's kind of like, when can we start again? So
yeah, it does feel very dead here. It's crazy. Normally with Pump Fun, it feels like a casino. It's just like, but like nothing's really moving. What can you tell me about these ones up here? Have you looked into these at all? This is not, what is it? Not in employment education training. This one looked like it had had a run here.
You can look at all the dates on it, right? So if you scroll up to the top, you can see 6 months ago is when this launched, right? So it's something that has sustained, and I think this might be somebody streams with this one, which a lot of those aren't successful. You can see they're streaming, but it was like 3 days ago, I guess, is the last time he streamed.
Yeah.
And so I mean, that's a pretty solid market cap for a streaming coin. I don't know if it's like an education thing, but if you go back to that other page where it shows all of them, so you can see these ones have some sort of momentum, right? So Draper TV, that was a live one. That was Tim Draper's like a part of his thing, to where they do like podcasts. This one actually got to like 17 million. But again, Tim Draper's fund is a huge fund, so I'm sure that they kind of help prop this up, in terms of market cap, right? And so what we also want to do is look at can they sustain that? And it got to 17 million, and then it pulled all the way back to like 6, and then now it's been hovering between 4 and 6. So yes, they act, in my opinion, it was a pullback was partially due to Bitcoin kind of being cut at the knees, and then the rest of the market being bearish. This one could be something that ends up turning back up whenever things get excited again.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's just like a full on podcast. I guess is it all day long?
I think so. Yeah, it's like a channel in a sense, because there'll be times where they're sitting on a couch talking. There'll be times, so it's kind of like what the base guys are doing with their build on base thing. But I guess it's Draper the builder fund company has this. So
Oh yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, this is they're gonna sit down. Yeah, this is awesome. It's like actually a fantastic idea.
yeah,
Honestly, but
well, maybe that's what the streaming side needs is more actual like legitimate programming, right? So
yeah, but then it has a coin, and it's just I don't get why a podcast needs a coin, but it is what it is. All right, I guess we can jump into some kind of take a look at what is happening in the categories area of stuff. So we're gonna jump into let me show my screen here. What I like to do, I like to go to categories and kind of see what the hottest categories were in the last 24 hours. It kind of gives you a sense of where people are putting their money right now. And again, it's AI applications and AI agents. So let's take a look at AI agents first, because it's up the most in the last 24 hours. So you're seeing, AWE network. Let me actually see what is actually popping. So Santa by Virtuals. Look at Virtuals again, bro. Virtuals is back in it with a nice winner for people yesterday, up to 135%. Is that Santa Claus rally? Like, what is this one?
yeah, I'm not surprised that they're starting to see some volume again. I mean, the AI meta is hot right now, right? But you gotta be careful with these because this is it's basically a pump fund version of AI projects, and there's probably about 75% of them that are just worthless, right? In my opinion. And then you got to kind of find the 25%, and out of those 25%, you're probably going to have maybe 10%. No, not 10%. Probably like maybe like 10. Yeah, maybe 10% that actually become something big, because it's a launch pad, right? So whenever you do launch pad, it's a volume game, right? And so these deployers, I don't think they make money unless they buy the coin originally, but the companies, you just gotta really do your research on them. There's some of them that are big. AI XBT still kind of doing its thing, right? With the automated X account and stuff. So
I feel like that's going to have something in the future as well. They're going to do some crazy stuff with that. I think, with all the information and stuff that he has gained from being alive all this time, I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. But Banker Coin, look at this, dude, a 40%. This was like 30 on Wednesday. This was 30 million. It's up almost $12 million. We do know Banker is going to be a big part of the Coinbase app. So we do know Farcaster, Zora, and Banker are going to be the three main dApps that are going to be used on the Coinbase app once that launches. How do you feel about Banker Coin right now and everything that they're doing with Banker?
I think Coinbase probably supporting them or the base team and stuff a lot. But this is probably going to be a trend. Maybe we're about to go into AI season 2, right? So
yeah, 100%. It's only a matter of time before stuff that we like is going to start running as well. But look at this though. This is just the Banker bot. You basically come here, and you can bridge $5 of ETH on base to Solana. You can give Banker a market desk. So basically, I wonder if you have to hook up your wallet probably.
Well, there's a terminal. If you click
deposit
launch terminal, yeah, then that's whenever you sign in and stuff. So
so this will create a wallet for me, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I never used Banker. So it's very similar to how Agent Hustle works in that sense. So 22,000 wallets. That's probably bullshit, honestly. I don't think there's 222,000 people in this space right now. Yeah, this is awesome. Yeah, but huge win for Banker right now. Let's see who else is kind of winning. Kind of go back out here. Let's go to the 24-hour again. VPay up 51%. That saw something on Solana, correct? Or something like that.
No, I think you're thinking of AI Pay.
Oh yeah, AI Pay. Yeah. Remember this one? Gigabrain?
Yes, Gigabrain.
Still alive, man. Sitting at 2.8 million. This is just like a cookie DAO type of platform.
I thought Gigabrain invests in other things. Maybe
no, that's not one of them. This is Gigabrain is mainly a news desk. You have to hold some Gigabrain and you have access to it.
Gotcha.
It's cookie DAO. So Copilot for Hyper. Oh, it's switched up. It's no longer what it used to be. So now it is a Copilot for Hyperliquid. When the hell did this happen? Let's watch this demo. Yeah, exit this. But yeah, I don't know. But it seems pretty cool. It's different now. They changed the whole dashboard up. That's wild. Wild times. Wild times. Let's see what else is kind of happening over here. Treasure. Damn, dude, 13 cents for Magic. Remember when this was like $1 or $2?
Oh, yeah, those days. That was 2022 whenever it was that price, right?
Yeah. And if you're going down, let's go by market cap, kind of see what maybe there's some we can find some winners in this market here. Got Agent Hustle there.
Yep. So some of these are definitely undervalued, or undervalued, like Hustle. I mean, at that market cap, I think that's a steal. And then the Good Tech one is funny. I think that was like launched on Bonk or something.
Was it?
Yeah, right below Hustle, I think it was. Right there, Good Tech. Up. Up one more.
Oh, okay. Right here. Oh, GUD. Okay, I was looking for good.
Yeah.
Good tech, yeah. Sitting at 4.2 million. A lot of opportunity in the market right now.
What about some of the other categories outside of AI? Is there anything else that's running, like RWA or anything like that?
Question. On the last 20, let's go to 7-day. So 7-day, zero knowledge, ZK. Tokenized gold has been running. Tokenized commodities, privacy, tokenized assets, launchpads, SocialFi, the Boys Club. I don't know what that is.
Oh,
but
that's
not much though.
Those are the memes. The Boys Club. Okay. Yeah, Pepe and all them. So.
Let's see what's down the worst. Synthetic dollars are down 11%. API applications are getting kind of hit on a 7-day. Up today. Seems like AI on 7-day. They're not looking too great. Made in China. I don't like the Merlin's on Made in China.
I mean, yeah, because it was Singapore where it started, right? So that's
Why do you always think Singapore is China? It was kind of like with the congressman. We're talking to the guy from TikTok, and he's like,
"Yeah,
no, I'm from Singapore." And he's like, "I'm not in China." Like, that was hilarious. People don't realize that. It's funny. Solve protocol up 10%. Merlin, this is kind of where I want to be, honestly, because Hyperliquid's made in Singapore as well.
Yeah, Aster. That's true. But are they on there?
Aster is.
No, Hyperliquid.
Hyperliquid. I mean, yeah, if I went to market cap, it should be. I don't see Hyper. It should be here though.
So I just think they're being miscategorized, or not. Whoever's doing this on the CoinGecko backend is not categorizing correctly or something.
Let's go over to CoinMarketCap and kind of see, because they have categories as well. I think CoinMarketCap does a better job of keeping up with the categories, because some stuff changes, or news comes out about them, and they actually update it pretty quickly here. So if you come over here, you go to cryptocurrencies, go to categories, you can kind of see what is going on here. Dominance.
We got a couple questions from the audience as well. Stan says, should we bet on, you already talked about this one, right? On all crypto projects that are funding the White House. Yeah, that could be a thing, that could be a category. White House relationship. And then he says, Kite's website looks beautiful. If their UX matches, I'm in. Yeah, that's the PayPal backed one. Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see what that blockchain is going to be like. If it's just going to only be professional use only type of situation. I imagine that it probably is, right?
Yeah, most likely.
He also says betting on CZ since the Trump BFF announcement. And is the Zcash pump genuine or a hoax? Thanks. Did you hear anything about that? Can you look up Zcash?
No. Let me look it up.
See how much they pumped.
So that's XMR, right? Oh no, that's the other one. Zcash. Yeah, Zcash is the Zcash. I mean, yeah, they've been okay. They've been pretty sideways since the first week of here. But I mean, this thing was September 30th. This thing was $56, and today it's what, 250. So it's up 5x. Damn, this thing has ran a lot.
And this is privacy.
Yeah, so when you send this, you can't track it. Like if I send you Zcash to Zcash, you can't track it. We should put ordinals on Zcash, because the same tech as Bitcoin. They use UTXOs and stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah, that would be interesting.
But you probably won't be able to see them now. I think about
it. Yeah, that and plus, I don't know if you could build a market up for that right now.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, this is up, 5x, but yeah, sure, the website. We can go to the website.
so it's I think it's a genuine pump, right? I would imagine. I need to get deeper into it, but privacy has been hot, right? So maybe that's why people are looking to go there. But then Monero, I would think would be one, but then I guess maybe their 51% attack that they had is maybe scares people.
Yup. All right. Let's go back to CoinMarketCap. All right, let's look at the top coins here. Everything's kind of red on the day here. You have Bitcoin, very sideways. Tether obviously being beat down a little bit. So, what do you see? Do you see BNB actually going back on its tear after this little pullback that it had? I mean, this thing was up 1,400. Do you think that's going to be like a local high?
No, I think it passed that.
Yeah.
Whenever everything is back, that's the question. We don't know when that's going to be.
Hyperliquid sitting about $39 here. Stellar, Sui sitting at $2.46. Litecoin, it's crazy. Sui's was like at $4 just a couple months ago. It feels like Avalanche. I feel like every single time coins like Avalanche, you feel like they're about to go up, they get smacked in the face. I feel like every single time. Look at this, dude. Look at this chop. I mean, every single time you think they have any type of momentum at all, it just gets smacked. This thing was just October 2nd or September 16th. This thing was $31, and now it's back to 19. Like they're not like letting anything run right now, unless it's just. Do you think it's just because of people are just taking trades and people are going long on Avalanche, and then they're taking their profits. Avalanche kind of goes back down. Do you think that's what it is? Do you think perps are the reason why potentially tokens like Avalanche and Solana are just not running?
Yeah, well, I think it's because we can't have sustained momentum.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you were to ask me in 2024, if I thought, a 2-month straight bull run was short or long, I would probably say that it's probably, right about it's about right. 2 months consistently, right? But anything extending that would be kind of long. So 3 months or whatever. But like thinking about 2 months of like being left alone and number go up now, like I can't even imagine that right now.
Yeah, I know.
Because like everything that has their hand in the cookie jar in our space won't allow that to happen. Like anybody that has the power for that won't allow that to happen right now. So it's kind of like, okay, like I wish like if people thought that was short before, that would seem like a year right now.
It would.
A
2
year
months
of
of bullish
excitement. Yeah.
How long was the Ethereum run? Was that like 4 weeks when it went from like 2,200 to $5,000?
I mean, it went. I think it started like. See, that's the thing is the journey started in late April, and then very late April. Though it was like more May, I would say, and then got some momentum up from
We went
8.
sideways for 3 months.
Yeah, and then and then it did. We did have like what was it? It was kind of like June and July. But Bitcoin kind of led it more than Ethereum did. Ethereum was just playing catch up because it was down to what 1,300, I think it was.
Yeah, it looks like it was around.
Go more to the right, to where it's the lowest point right there.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find it with my mouse. 1453 seems to be where it is. See that I'm using the little cursor right here with the dot. See,
yeah. Do you see the dot though? That your cursor's on the actual line.
Yeah.
Okay,
But,
right there. So
okay.
1472. So 1472 is the lowest, and that was April 8th.
Okay.
And then it basically starts to say, okay, well, now this is our bottom. We got to catch up. But I don't really count that first part. That's like you got to catch up from like being almost like decimated. You know what I mean? And then you go here, and that's not like a bullish. Yes,
No.
we did have some excitement in, I think it was July or August.
Yeah.
And but at the same time, like that was Ethereum, right? If everybody has to get excited only about that, then I don't feel like that counts in my opinion. And then you have Bitcoin that was kind of doing its thing, right? So then you just forget about the entire rest of the space. Yes, you had Hyperliquid, you had some couple, one-offs that won during that situation, but it's not what we have experienced in the past, nothing close. So that's what I mean by like having a 2 month of like kind of jubilee of like, okay, this is the time for the space to really thrive. We didn't have that. And I don't know like if we will have that this year, because it's been consistent stop of momentum going up. And so that's why I thought of that whenever you mentioned Avalanche not being able to catch momentum. Tokens like that, in my opinion, is why.
Yeah, 100%. Monero is still sitting at 21. So yeah, seeing some privacy up here as well. I'm surprised XMR is still doing so good. I mean, $6 billion market cap, crazy. Did you think about that, Monero as being a top 20 coin, Bitcoin Cash being a top 20 coin? Like that seems to me like, how's that possible?
Because they've been around forever. And, the people that are in those coins have been in them, a lot of the people since the beginning or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And it's just, it's like one of those things that slowly grow over time, It's like a rare earth metal or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, it'll appreciate with like inflation, because everything's pinned to the dollar. So, and that's another thing too, is that everything is pinned to the dollar here. So it's like it makes sense, I guess, to stay in those other ones, because that's another thing too. Those other ones, like they almost can't go to zero, like Litecoin and even those horrible Bitcoin forks, like the Bitcoin Cash and Satoshi's Vision. They were it got grandfathered in so early.
Yeah, 100%. I think about stuff like Algorand though. I still people talking about Algorand. It's weird to me. Like I'll listen to people and they're like, I'm bullish on Algorand. I'm like, who the hell uses Algorand's blockchain?
I don't know who uses what, but maybe that's going to be like a determining factor in the future. Is they're going to start showing more. I know they show volume on DeFi Llama and stuff like that, but I'm just talking about using it as like technology in general consistently. I mean, their website's pretty cool.
Actually, look, I actually want to dive in a little bit. This might be my thing here. Connect wallet. What wallet can I connect with? They got their own stuff. Pira,
Yeah.
DeFi. I never heard of any of these wallets. On-chain Quest, Unchained prizes. Yeah, I might start doing this. I mean, got nothing else to do right now. You get badges. That's pretty cool. They like NFTs, I guess.
Yeah.
But,
Algorand.
Algorand can.
So who was Algorand's biggest competitor last cycle? Because they were a big part of the metaverse, right? Algorand.
I don't think so.
Like their chain was or something. Okay.
No, I don't think Algorand chain ever did any type of metaverse. I think they were mainly for DeFi in the beginning. Let me go back to CoinMarketCap and kind of see, maybe does CoinMarketCap have that? I know DeFi Llama has it, kind of what the chain is. News. Oh, about, here we go. Algorand is a self-sustaining, decentralized blockchain based on network. These systems are secure, scalable, efficient. But Algorand is support computations and require reliable performance guarantees to create new forms of trust. So all just buzzwords. 1 million transactions a day on December 20th. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah, maybe we should do that. We should just pick an ecosystem every couple of days and dive in on the show too.
Download the wallets and stuff. Yeah, that could be fun. Algorand is moving inside descending. Yeah, I mean everything is moving in descending channel. Like every coin you look at, they're all moving in these same exact descending triangles that this guy posted. Like Algorand, everything. So it's like, yeah, the whole ecosystem is moving in this.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like sometimes whenever people were doing TA for like Ethereum, like right now, I'm like, dude, it's following Bitcoin Come on. It's literally following Bitcoin, except for a little bit tailed from it.
Yeah.
We're not in a situation to where Ethereum is going off and doing its own thing. We're just not. So there's not, I don't feel like there's very much reasons to do, you know, a super in-depth Ethereum breakdown. If you're doing Bitcoin, you can just kind of say, and that's why I do that. Honestly, I'm not just saying that because that's what I do, but recently. And so, yeah, you know, everything is following, you know, unless there's something big in the news, you know, so pay attention to that. Like, you know, KiteAI, that is obviously something that has been going off on its own. There's one-off situations, unique situations. So
Did you send Jake the link? I never did.
I did.
All right, cool.
Yep, he's about to pop in here.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Yep, man. So I'm excited to get into kind of Agent Hustle. We did that recording yesterday, you know, with Maverick. So that's going to be good for the audience. So you guys are going to be able to see, you know, how to really optimize your use of Hustle, because this guy seems to have figured it out, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean,
Maverick?
he's somebody who's, you know, he said he made like a nice couple hundred X's on some coins, right? So like he's definitely used Hustle in ways to kind of create himself some wins. I know he said, like, you know, sometimes Hustle will say something and he'll go against it, and then he's like, you'll have to go back and say, yeah, you were right about you were right on that coin. So that was pretty funny. That was like my favorite part about it. And that video will be out on Sunday. So if you want to watch the full coverage on how to use Agent Hustle and everything, that'll be out on Sunday. So
Yep.
Man, so I guess we want to look.
Yeah, there's I mean, we can always go into like the Bitcoin ordinals. Yeah,
I guess so.
Seeing what? No, I was kind of joking, but I mean, look, I mean, at the end of the day, everything. Well, hey, look, it's green.
Got some green. So yeah, you're right about that. Node monkeys are up 2%. Pizza. Oh, it's because the pizza ninjas are buying their own thing up. Right. So
yeah,
damn,
right now
floors are gonna crush though.
Yeah, but right now, I mean, honestly, 4,000 is not bad for the current like state of the space right now.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So, you know, if you look at OMB at 1,500 there, what's the lowest
ever been?
What's the lowest OMB can go, you think?
I think it can go to 800-900, honestly.
Would you buy one then?
No, I'd rather buy coins. You know what I mean? Like
what if no months with the 8?
So my problem is, right, like, would you rather hold right now an AI project that can 100x or node monkeys that can 10x? You know what I mean? To me, it just doesn't. There's no comparison of what I want to be in, right? So it's like I don't like in the beginning of the bull market. I don't really want to be in any type of art or anything like that. I think that's later. I think that it's best to kind of just be in the coins that can, you know, 20, 10, 20, 30, 40x rather than the art that can, you know. I mean, can no monkeys get to 40,000? I don't even know if that's even possible.
I mean, they already have, but that was a totally different time.
Completely different. It was new back then. That's the one thing people don't understand, right? When something's new and it gets to insane numbers, right? But unless you're continuing building, and for node monkeys, there's nothing to build. It's just going to be old art, right?
I disagree with that. I think most things you're right, but you know, some things that are old also, you know, have a lot of value depending. You know, like
stuff that's old appreciates. They just kind of go up. They don't like have these like huge momentum moves like no monkeys had in the past. You know what I mean? I think the newer stuff that's going to drop when things get bullish, newer stuff's going to drop that you can potentially make some really, really, really good X's.
So, yeah, you get more volatility for sure.
Exactly.
On the newer stuff, but
Yep. All right, let's kind of get into our next segment here. So every week we do Hanging with Hustle. Today we got the amazing Jake Gallen joining us, and we're going to be getting into some stuff. So yesterday we did a pre-record with Maverick, got into Hustle. I feel like me and Yagobi learned a lot about Hustle yesterday. That video will be out on Sunday afternoon. We're going to be putting that video out. So definitely look into that if you're trying to get into Hustle the best way. We open the wallet up. The deposit in the Hustle. We give him access, and it's absolutely awesome. But guys, Agent Hustle is really important because what Coinbase is doing now, they're basically doing the same thing Hustle's doing. Hustle's already out there. Hustle's has months and months of people using it already. So it's something that you got to start looking at and seeing stuff like Banker Coin go nuts yesterday. Hustle is that, right? It's basically that version on Solana, but they're not just stopping on Solana. They're going to be everywhere soon. So really excited to talk to Jake here. So without further ado, let's bring up Jake Gallen. Jake, welcome back to the show, man. Thanks so much for being here.
What's good, fellas?
What's going on?
Not much, man. Honestly,
How was the Mav? How was the Mav recording?
It was good. It was good. We learned a lot. I mean, he's definitely a power user, you know, but I think it's good for the audience too, because he did break it down at a high level for people that are new and trying to learn how to use it to their advantage. But I think it's really educational, and it's going to be good for people trying to learn about the product.
Yeah, man, that group is crazy. They're in the trenches all day, 24/7, hitting tons of wins. It's awesome to see.
Yeah, 100%. He said something yesterday that kind of went against something that you said. He puts all the tools on. I know you told us in the past that that's not the best way to do it, because it kind of messes up your hustle.
It just makes them slower.
Why do you think? I asked him that, and he was just like, you know, I'd rather deal with the slowness because I'm getting all the information. Is that something that you've heard feedback from?
I mean, it just depends on your preference. Think of it as just being a human, right? If you're building a house and you have 5 tools in front of you versus 500 tools, obviously it's going to take longer to sort through the tools to know what to use in what areas. It's the same thing with an AI. If you put 500 tools in front of an AI, it takes time for them to go through all of them to figure out which one they need to use to access certain types of information or perform on-chain transactions. And for people like Mav, who are not your typical, you know, Axiom type trader who needs instant finality and you're kind of racing against the clock, if you need an extra, 50 seconds or so, then you can turn on all the tools. Although we just started this week training our own AI model. So the goal is to get it much faster than where he is today. So if that all works out well, then we should be able to increase his speed by an order or two of magnitude.
Let's get into that a little bit. Can you actually break that down? What is actually happening? What do you mean by training your own model?
I'm gonna be completely honest. I have really no idea.
Gotcha.
Opting this to consultation that we hired, as well as Shannon. But from my understanding, there's some sort of algorithm that's used with the training data of over 6,900 different hustle logs and conversations from all of the. I think 6,900 is like the amount of accounts that's been created since started, or at least since July or June with the financial transactions. And then you train them on this data, as well as other types of information. And I let them figure out kind of what the algorithm is, what's the training, but they said they should know within a few weeks if it was successful or not. And one of the guys that we hired is like a very experienced person in the AI space that's friends of some of the founders of the team. And we'll find out. The goal is to get it faster, to get it cheaper, right? If we get it cheaper and faster, then the subscription price comes down, more transactions land. It's just a better experience overall. So it's definitely one of the priorities, but it's not really straightforward because you still want to keep the quality, right? Like there's a trade-off where if you do train him right, but then on the other side, he's not as good at finding tokens, then, is that really a win? Because for people like Mav, they don't care if the transaction lands in 5 seconds or if it lands in 30 seconds, right? They're moving at a different pace from the majority of people, but most people want things as fast as possible. That's just the society that we're in. So it's an experiment that we'll find out, and hopefully in a few weeks that it is successful.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, as a business, you want to optimize everything for the business and the end user, right? So I think that's a great approach to take. And if you guys end up, having your own model that you train, then I think, it's going to definitely be beneficial. So I'm curious, AI seems to be a really hot sector in crypto right now, while the space is kind of in limbo in terms of, I guess, like the native crypto investors and stuff. So are you guys feeling that? Are you getting a lot of attention because of that? What's your perspective on the AI sector getting a lot of attention right now?
So the DeFi AI sector is definitely not in that type of traction right now. If you look at all the tokens, starting with Banker, who's the leader, they're all down like horrifically. I think Banker's under 30 million now. Hustle's down to like 4. Anon, I think, is under 10 million, and Griffin as well. All right. So that sector is definitely down, still going to be consolidating for a while, in my opinion. The X402 space seems to be where the attention is right now, which actually is kind of ironic because we're going to be migrating a project called KiteAI, which is a X402 facilitator, which is up 150% today because it's starting to catch a lot of attention, as well as I've seen on the more macro scale. BitTensor has also been getting some tension as well. With, I think they have like a halving that's coming up, as well as a lot of their other subnets are starting to get some attention. AI is always something that we believe was going to come back at some point in time. Now that the sector is a little bit larger than it was a year ago, there's different applications for people to speculate on, and it's not just KOL agents, right? You have the whole trading agent sector, which is Hustle and Banker and such, right? Now you have X402, there's frameworks, there's LO1 blockchains that are popping up, and security models, and so on and so forth. So we will see it continue to rotate around. No doubt in my mind, though, that trading agents will come back at some point, probably next year.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and real quick, Banker just had an insane day yesterday for no reason. I couldn't find out any news why, but it's up like $10 million, $12 million in a matter of like 24 hours. Craziness, absolutely craziness. But yeah, so you mentioned the X402. You're talking about the Coinbase.
That's probably why Banker is up. Banker integrated X402 in July, so probably because that seems to be the hot thing. That's probably where the value came from.
Gotcha. That makes sense because Coinbase just put that out. We actually watched a video on it yesterday. I'm curious to your opinion on it. With now able to take ChatGPT and Claude, it seems like well, you guys already been doing this for forever. Everything that it's able to do, Agent Hustles has been doing.
We've been watching X402, and it is a plan to integrate. We don't have it yet. Essentially, what it is just micropayments for agents. So the one thing you learn is that the internet was supposed to be built on something like this, but it did not happen. And what it does is it allows for pay-per use for API credits or API costs. So if I'm if I'm an AI agent and I'm accessing the Emblem API because I want to get information on vaults or bids or kind of whatever is going on, an AI agent can do that, but they only have to pay for the specific costs of that one single API call. Whereas in today's internet, that is not possible. It's actually surprising. When X402 came out, I was doing some research on the history of internet payment rails. And this is why you have subscription models. But the issue with subscription models is that for the provider, like for us, it's hard to price what an actual subscription is, right? This is when we launch the Hustle subscriptions, you're kind of taking a shot in the dark, and you're like, okay, this one prompt costs this price, so we'll charge this amount for this many prompts, and then you have to kind of speculate on the regular use of that API over 30 days, right? So this is why we had 2 different tiers. But if you move to an X402 payment, you don't have to do subscriptions. You just allow people to pay per go. Some people like subscriptions. And retail probably better for subscriptions, but for developer subscriptions are the complete antithesis of what you need, because if you're paying for a subscription that you're not utilizing to its fullest extent, then you're leaving money on the table. And so if you go this route, then you're saving money and you can have a much better projection on what your costs are on a forward rate.
Yeah. So what if you are developing a platform though that needs that call multiple times, like whenever a user is doing something, then you would go per subscription instead of the pay per call, right?
It depends on the platform. I mean, you could do it for both. Just from my experience in dealing with retail psychology, retail does not like pay per credit at all. Generally, anytime I go to a platform or an AI platform and it's, hey, you deposit, one Sol and you get 200 credits, like to me, that's like, you never deposit anymore. You try to use it up, right? But when you're paying for a subscription, you're generally not looking at what the use is. You're just like, okay, I pay $100 a month, and then this is kind of what it is. But for developers, it's the complete opposite, because you're building a product. You need to be able to anticipate what the estimated costs per month or per day are, and it's really hard to do that in a subscription kind of model. The X402, I'm glad it's taking off. To me, it's no doubt like that should have been what the internet rails were built on. Coinbase is the one behind it, and so they're pushing it very aggressively, obviously on base. And it's kind of crazy in the last few days it's really taken off, because it's been around for a while. And I have a feeling we'll learn a lot more through Pay AI that we're migrating. So we're starting to build a relationship with them, and they've built a Solana X402 option as well.
Wow. That's a huge client you guys got for the Migrate, because like you mentioned earlier, I mean, they're recently just jumped up to like $16 million market cap.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how that all worked out. It reminds me a lot of last migration group when we had Monopoly
Zero.
money migrate to Zira, because that was right when the privacy era was taking off. Now X402 starting to take off with our migration starting in 2 weeks, and so it's a pretty good it's a pretty good catch there, because they're also migrating to a Radium pool, not to a Launchpad. So smart team behind that. Makes me really excited for AI, because we always knew it's the long-term play. And to even actually kind of showcase how early we are, there's a agent dashboard that we found called it's like accounting or appointing or something like that. I was posting about it. And across all EVM agentic protocols, there was only 1,500 daily active users. And so you're saying like this is across like Banker and every AI project on Base and ETH mainnet. They didn't have anything for Solana, right? So you're saying there's a reason why all these tokens are at such a low valuation. I mean, for Hustle, we're averaging between like 40 to 80 daily active users. It said Banker had 250 daily active users. Actually, only said Banker only had 300,000 in TVL, which I thought was kind of crazy. It's extremely low, right, for something that has that much speculation. So this sector, DeFi, has 100 to 1,000x growth potential over the next 5 years or so. It's literally, if you're participating in it now, you're literally at like the ground floor.
Yeah, 100%. And it almost feels like it's too early. But then you see stuff like yesterday, what happened when Coinbase put out this video talking about it. Then you see Banker go absolutely crazy and stuff like that. But like, so from your experience, like, it's tough being too early. But are we too early right now, or are we just maybe just early?
If you're a token holder, you're probably too early.
Okay.
probably not what most token holders want to say, or to hear, but. One of our teammates, Chris, he says this all the time, that which is a really good kind of example, that most people want early return gains, right? Being early gains, but nobody wants to actually put in the effort of being early. And being early means you could be 2 weeks early, you could be 2 years early. I mean, look at the people for Zcash. I was around when Zcash even launched, right? And it hit its peak in 2017. It has been literally consolidating from middle of 2018 till now, until the last few weeks, right? So these people were literally 5-7 years early, and they literally held it for that long to then hit those gains, right? And so think of that, if you're in the AI sector right now, that could potentially be you, right? I don't think it'll be that long, because the agentic industry in crypto and not moves much faster than privacy does. Privacy moves a little bit slower because of regulatory reasons. But you could infinitely be really early here. We don't really know. This is why we're kind of lucky for us that we have 2 other protocols that we can rotate attention to. I was saying this yesterday on our show, that in our ecosystem, you kind of have the Emblem, Migrate Fund, Barbell. Both of these are profit generating companies, right? Migrate Fund is now a little bit over break even, considering the 100K we spent in buybacks, and then the 100K in salaries and audits that has been spent, right? So everything from here on forward is essentially profit outside of salaries. And Emblem Vault also has a pretty good profit margin as Emblem activity continues. But with the token being focused around agent hustle and the sector being really early, right? You might have to hold on for a little while until it reaches that that kind of market peak, right? Like it does with X402. I could see DeFi AI coming back, and what you see happening with AI will happen at much larger magnitudes because X402 is just a component of trading agents. But yeah, so should be really good. I think next year, the intelligence cycle, maybe like middle of next year, is really when it becomes apparent.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I was gonna ask, because I think people are they get frustrated with all their portfolio right now. It doesn't really matter because they feel like we're going into this Q4 and all this stuff. Do you feel like a lot of what things will just get a lot better as well once we go into risk on? And do you is that something that just, why is the market the way it is right now? That's what I want to get at, because I think there's a lot of people that have been waiting for Q4 and patiently waiting this entire year, and it feels crappy.
I was on your guys' show maybe like 2 months ago, and I was saying that the market was feeling pretty frothy. Actually, not even as much frothy as I thought. Just like retail institutions were just out of money to spend. I mean, there was literally like $5 to $10 billion thrown at DATs, right? And then we also had the launchpad wars that were ongoing. And to me, it just feels like people are just out of money. And then you had the liquidation event that happened a few weeks ago.
Mhm.
And not only did you just have like people out of money to buy things in spot, but you have the degens that are also wiped out on leverage, right? So you can't even, like, a lot of people can't even borrow to take out positions at this point in time. So you just got to wait for it to, for the market to repair itself. Could take a few months. I'm still under the impression, I said this literally the same day that the liquidation event happened, that I think it's going to be pretty choppy until probably around Christmas time, and then you'll probably start resuming up. But in between then, the things to look for are all the TGEs that are happening. Meteora launched yesterday.
Mhm.
Obviously, it's been kind of down. I think it's quite undervalued. So I see people speculating on, why the market is down or why the token went down, et cetera. You have like Monad, you have Lit Protocols, Lit Key. There's there's the OpenSea stuff. You have the Mega ETH, ICO. You have Wallchain. There's like 5, maybe like 15 or so TGEs now, 10 to 15 between now and Christmas that are to look forward to, which I think will probably take over the majority of the liquidity that's left. And then next year, or end of this year, I think is when the market finally starts repairing itself, because you can see in the order books on chain that the trading networks, right, which is generally the majority of the trading volume, I'm saying more than 50%, is generally people writing arbitrage bots, or they're writing sniping bots, right, or trading bots or whatever. And a lot of those people got wiped out. And you can see it in the trading activity that's quite low. So you got to let all these people recalibrate their trading networks and figure out what the new industries and sectors are. And that takes a while. It takes months for that to repair. So people just really need to hold on until then. And I think if you're sitting and staring at a chart all day over the next few months, you're probably going to hate yourself, because it's going to be very choppy for a few months.
Ooh.
Well,
I mean,
it
that's
doesn't sound
the
too
cold hard truth. Sometimes you got to hear it, and it will benefit you to kind of accept some of these these things, because for me, I had big expectations for Q4 this year, and so maybe just taming those and focusing on other things, dive deeper in research and different sectors of the space is big.
This is the best time for builders. This is like, if you're a trader right now, you should be looking at protocols or products that are continually building in the face of adversity, and putting out new types of products that you find interesting. There's kind of an ideology that I reference the markets to, is generally speculation outpaces price development or product development. And then at some point that switches, and then product development outpaces speculation, right? And so now we're moving from where price speculation was outpacing product development at a very serious rate, to now we're in the beginning stages of where product development needs to outpace speculation, right? Speculation is pretty much wiped out and reset to zero, and you have new products, right? Like seeing X402 take off, that to me is a very positive sign, because it's a new development in the industry, and you can see that speculation is moving towards product development. And so if you're a trader, this is what you should be looking at over the next few months. And those are the sectors that are going to take off. X402 is just a good sign to show that the overarching AI sector is something that's not going away, because they're finding new features within the overall industry to speculate on. So these are things that you should be looking for.
Is that built into Hustle? Like, for example, right now the X402 sector is hot. So if I'm asking Hustle, hey, find me some hot tokens right now, will Hustle kind of say, okay, well, this category is pretty hot. Let's see what's over there that's hot.
Probably. Right now he's on Solana. I think potentially next week we should be launching some of our extensions to ETH mainnet and to one of our partners. We're kind of just waiting on them to approve and figure out what the marketing is. And then we're working on the next 3 chains. I think will be BSC, Polygon for Polymarket, and Base. So those will be the next 3 extensions. The great part is, since we have EVM built, like adding new chain support is actually quite simple. So I think here by the end of the year, we should probably be the most advanced cross-chain AI trading terminal that exists, just because we can have as many chains as possible, whereas a lot of these other ones are all built on top of Privy. So they're limited to the wallets that Privy supports, which is generally EVM. And because we're built on top of Emblem and we built our own wallet infrastructure as well as login system, we can literally expand to any chain, whether it's EVM or not. So I suspect that by the end of the year, we should have probably another maybe 6 chains support. If you could do like 2 per month, I think is like a pretty solid pace.
Yeah, that's gonna be pretty crazy. So let's say you guys are on Polygon for Polymarket, or let's say for Courtyard, and I just deposit Sol. Will I be able to do stuff with that Sol? Will Hustle be able to do everything for me in the back end, so I don't have to worry about it?
Yeah, so kind of like this is getting into like the design and architecture, right? There is a leading thought within the team that, hey, maybe we should just turn on every single wallet for the top like 50 chains, and then users can just deposit their assets in there, and then you basically have one interface that can store all of your assets, right? Kind of like an exchange model.
Yeah.
But it's decentralized because it uses lit on the back end. And then you can just add in a cross-chain swap tool like a Shapeshift or a Ghosty Cash or a Simple Swap or something like that. You could just let users trade inside of Agent Hustle any token for any token, right? But then there's another leading thought that could be too expansive, and then you just want to go add each chain with its technology on top of it, right? So like, for example, adding support for Binance Smart Chain, you have to integrate PancakeSwap and you have to integrate 4Meme, right? That's our launchpad. When you're adding support for Polygon, you have to add Uniswap and Polymarket, right? When you go over to Base, you have to add Aerodrome, you have to add Virtuals, you have to add Clinker, right? You have to add a bunch of more infrastructure, because people on Base are doing things that are more than just speculating on meme coins on a launchpad, right? That's what's happening mostly on Binance, but that's not exactly everything that happens on Base. So you have to be a little bit, knowledgeable on what the premier applications are for each L2, so that users have things to do. Because we're still very early. I mean, we have we're barely reaching 100 daily active users now. We were at one point at 300, but as the market's tailed off, I think as we've added subscriptions, we're building for now our premier subscribers, and they want more things to speculate on. So we're kind of going in that direction until things change.
Yeah, that got me thinking, could Hustle ever do like a peer-to-peer thing with inside of Hustle, like almost like having its own liquidity pools? Like, it's I say, hey, I have, Arbitrum and Solana. If anyone ever wants to trade either of these, you can go through my pool.
I don't know if I want to get into the AMM world. I mean,
Gotcha.
we built Emblem Markets, and I got a taste of that through the marketplace, and that it's a
Gotcha.
very cutthroat industry that I did not want to be a part of. But there are opportunities to add different types of LP systems. The unfortunate part is right now AI times LP is just not really popular. We added it for Solana. We're adding it for ETH mainnet. I don't suspect it to be that large yet. But what people do want AI for is token discovery. At least that's for Agent Hustle's application. So that's what we're going to continue to build in. Although we're getting requests now for prediction markets. And so then we're going to continue to try to grow the applications with the user base rather than creating applications and hoping the user base comes there. You got to focus on what the people are doing with your platform, whether it's 5 people or 500 people.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. You don't want to build stuff that no one's going to use, and if they use it in 5 years, then you feel like you wasted the time to actually build something people are going to use today. I completely get it. My next question is, so right now, Agent Hustle is in this category, AI agents. I feel like Agent Hustle should be in AI applications. How do you feel about that?
It just comes down to CoinGecko. We applied for all of the different AI categories, and they kind of chose it there. I mean, there was a pain point where when it was still Tensorium, I was trying to we applied to different AI categories literally once a week, and they denied every single one. So it's not really a choice of ours, but we do apply to a lot of these. He kind of is both. He's also DeFi AI. That just kind of shows like how early the sector is. If you can have one product fill into 5 different categories, that means that there's a lot of crossover between these categories, which means that the industry is just not that big to begin, which is fine because we're going to continue to grow. But good. It's exciting times for Hustle. Obviously, Migrate Fund is it's the winning product. I mean, we're having 5 more migrations. We're working with partners. All the different launch pads want to work with us. And we're continuing to build kind of in that direction. So in the meantime, Migrate Fund and Emblem will be the money getters. Emblem, I think, and I'm still very, very confident that Emblem is by far the largest project of the 3 that has the most potential to become one of the largest companies in the industry. But AI is a long-term play here because the models are just not where they need to be to perform automated executions. The build out of AI trading terminals is still kind of in its early stages. And it's just going to take a little while to get there. But Hustle is definitely something that, whether the trading terminal is something that's successful, all the technology that's being built on it, we could apply over to Emblem, we can apply over to Migrate Fund, or we could apply over to whatever product that we build. So at the end of the day, if retail isn't using it, we could sell it to commercial. If commercial is not using it, then we can use it internal for all of our future product development.
Yeah, man, 100%. One thing I noticed about the migrations that I guess I didn't realize was, when you said monopoly money earlier, like it's completely out of my head that's zero net, right? So it's like, it's one thing now. It's like I feel like after the migrations, I used to always kind of like be like, oh well, that's still Sonic, and now it's still Phantom. But I don't feel that way anymore. I feel like once something's migrated, even for a couple weeks, I'm already like, that's that now. So when you said monopoly money to me earlier, it really resonated. Like, oh, well, I totally forgot that was even called monopoly money.
We had like 5. Yeah, I mean, it's like Hustle, right? No one thinks Tensorium. Zero, no one thinks monopoly money.
Yep.
The Radar team, no one thinks of Tilt. IQ Labs pivoted from IQ 6900, and there might be another 1 or 2 in there. But yeah, I mean, that's like one of the main use cases of a migration is a rebranding and a fresh start, right? Fresh start, fresh chart. That's kind of the one of the mottos that a lot of people like, and it's just going to continue to grow over time. I mean, some of the migration groups that we're curating for future partners and launches is quite large. We're now getting into the territory from our platform to where we actually have to build relationships with all these exchanges, because some of the projects coming to us have literally like 20 listings across all these exchanges. So still building that process out while still building out Emblem v3 right now, which is a little bit more compatible with some of the launch pads themselves rather than doing it the roundabout way. The one thing we've learned is no matter who you're communicating with, whether it's Radium or Bonk or Meteora, right, or Pump or platforms on Base or the new launch pads or whatever, every single one has a different kind of mechanism to migrate. So it's not really as straightforward as one would be. And so we just have to continue to make updates to the platform. But Migrate Fund is it's the creator of its own sector of migrations. Migrations existed before. We're kind of the first ones to really commercialize it and take it to the next level. Will there be competitors that pop up? Potentially, right? Slurf has a migration platform. Believe has a migration platform. The difference is that we have 14 other clients that have gone through our platform and they have just their own, which is fine. You know, they're doing the same model that we did. And I think just as launchpads continue, as new ecosystems like Base mature, people are going to want to migrate. People are going to want to, people start on launchpads because it's free to do. And then when you get adoption, they're going to want to migrate and take off the training wheels and get their own fees, right? Through all these LP pools. And this is what we're seeing with Zira. This is what we're seeing with KiteAI, right? They're two pretty good examples of projects that launched on a launch pad, and then once their sector started getting market adoption, they became a leader and they're ready to take the training wheels off and control their own destiny.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned that migrations have been around forever, which they have been, but the difference is, you know, Pump Fund created a need for a service now, because by locking up that liquidity from the bonding curve on, you know, it's just stuck there basically, right? So, you know, it's interesting how the industry can create another industry, and it seems like that's what happened here. Would you agree?
Yeah, you know, this is just common in society, right? Like we're kind of entering this autonomous phase where a lot of jobs in the real world are going to be automated away to robots. But then because of that, there's going to be new jobs created to manage the robots, to build the robots, right? All these creative outlets. It's the same thing in crypto. Migrations existed beforehand. Our first migration of Emblem was in 2016 and 15 when we migrated the first migration from Ribbit Rewards to, which was its own L1 blockchain. This is before Ethereum existed, to Counterparty as Coval C, right? And those are two proof of work chains. So the migration process was much more manual and time intensive. But now with smart contracts and with lock liquidity, you can basically build these migration platforms to be completely automated end to end in a permissionless and decentralized way. And that's exactly what we want to do. And as internally as we view the crypto world at Emblem, right? All these blockchains are countries. All these countries have services and rules and regulations and stuff. And so you got to be able to build the protocols that adapt best to those types of principles. And yeah, it's an awesome job with Pump creating that. If it wasn't for lock liquidity pools, Migrate Fund would not exist. Or because migrations are so much easier. Like, for example, we migrated Hustle to its own Radium pool, but we left the liquidity unlocked. So if we were to ever migrate again, we don't have to use Migrate Fund. We just basically pull the liquidity, take a snapshot of holders, and we can just airdrop the tokens to the holders. Or if we migrate to another chain, you just take a snapshot and you just build a claim portal of those addresses for the new token on whatever the network is, right? So there's not real much of a business model there because it's much easier to do. The business model exists in the lock liquidity pools because you have to have that sell and you have to do all these different ancillary tasks to ensure that it's completed.
Yeah. And that's not going away. That launchpad model is going to stick around because the whole point is so liquidity doesn't get stolen out before the bonding. But yeah, we got a couple questions from Emblem's biggest fan and your biggest fan, Stan here. Stan says, yep, he says, with the successful migration of projects by Hustle, how real is the technology having the ability to perform tokenization of real world assets? So I'm he's asking if Hustle's tech stack could ever tokenize things. Maybe is that what you guys got from that?
This is an Emblem. This is a conversation we've talked with Emblem for a long time. Emblem is actually kind of the opposite of an RWA. I like to say it's a DWA platform, a digital world asset, because what it does is it tokenizes digital assets on a new chain, right? Whereas RWA platforms take real world assets and tokenize it on chain. So, for example, you're taking a rare Pepe and tokenizing it on ETH, right? Or you're taking a Bitcoin Pepe and tokenizing it on Solana. That's essentially what RWA platform is, right? Like with Courtyard, you're taking a Pokemon card and you're storing it inside of a Brinks vault, and then they're tokenizing it on Base or Polygon to then go trade. I forget which platform they're on. So we're in the same category. Can we do RWAs? Probably. There's a lot of overhead costs for that. But we can the actual outcome is probably just doing Emblem Vault services for RWAs, taking a Pokemon card from Polygon and tokenizing it on Base, right? Or tokenizing it on Solana or whatever the case is. So NFT-based RWAs are very bullish for Emblem because it just means that more things are going to have to be imported and exported to different countries, which are blockchains.
Yeah, which most of them would be NFT RWAs, in my opinion. Maybe you can tokenize fungible stuff with, I don't know.
Yeah, money markets and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Tokenizing debt and I mean, stable coins are essentially RWAs, right? You're taking dollars and tokenizing it on chain as a fungible token. So there's a lot of potential for each one.
Yep. And then the last question he has is, since Hustle is diversified in its processing, is that a added guardrail to prevent an AWS outage disruption?
Yeah, good question. We actually moved Hustle to Alchemy over like a week ago or two, so he was not affected by the AWS outage. He's running through RPC nodes and on-chain different types of information. How that technically works, I have no idea, but it's actually something that our dev team had told us last week. So they said that we weren't impacted.
Timing.
yeah, literally. Yeah, dev team is based. It feels good now because we have 2 devs that are working on Hustle, and then we have 2 devs that are working on Migrate Fund. And those 2 systems we've built now to work pretty much autonomously, so they don't need Shannon's oversight. Although Shannon's going to be moving into a CTO role over the next few months, and so we've moved Shannon to bring back the Emblem Vault ecosystem and kind of dust it off and start working on it, which we've been doing. And there'll be a lot of awesome products to come out of there related to smart vaults. I was teasing yesterday that we created a resting bid indicator, which is pretty cool, which I think is going to be put behind a paywall. We're going to bring the Hustle subscription service to Emblem Vault, which we will be working on. And so there'll be some sort of subscription model, probably same prices you see with Hustle, but you'll get both services. You'll get like the premium Emblem services, and you'll also get the Hustle service for one subscription cost. So the goal would be to bundle all 3 different applications into the subscription service, very similar to what Amazon does, because we do think Emblem company is very similar to the Amazon model, as Emblem is very similar to Amazon, right? It takes assets and ships it from one place to another, which is what Amazon does. We have our Emblem SDK, which is similar to like drop shipping, right? So anyone could build on top of it. And then you have all these other ancillary technologies that you can wrap up within a subscription service. So yeah, we want people to make money. And this one tool that we're working on for Emblem is actually has built-in arbitrage indicators for it. So for example, you could plug in your Rare Pepe wallet into this, and it'll tell you all the arbitrage opportunities that you have, or even the dispensers. It'll say, hey, there's a dispenser for Pepe Cash here for 1 penny, and then there's a resting bid here for $10, and you could make $5 if you click this button, right? So combining AI that we have with Hustle into the future of Emblem Vault is a very big grand slam.
Yeah, man, that's actually huge. I mean, especially when so basically how it's gonna work is it cross chain, or is it just like, hey, on this right here you have a resting bid for this asset?
Yeah, so the subscription service itself, some people have noticed this with Hustle, but when you sign in with Hustle, it actually uses the ETH signature of your MetaMask or Phantom wallet.
Gotcha.
So because we did it that way, when you're signing into Emblem Vision, that is on ETH. Right. So if you use the same wallet, whether you're paying for the subscription service in Hustle on Solana, or you'll be paying for it in ETH on Ethereum until we bridge Hustle over. That one wallet will have subscription service to both products. And so the product on Emblem Vision that we're going to be building out is a new discount program. So right now with Emblem Vault, the flat fee is $20 per vault, but we do have a co-vol discount program, which we're going to be sunsetting once this is live, because the co-vol transition will happen in Q1 next year. And so there'll be a pretty significant discount program, as well as kind of these pro trading tools for Emblem itself. Yeah, it's a really cool product. It's something that our power users do currently. This is why we built it. We have a bunch of people that we've noticed over the years. There's probably maybe 50 to 100 of these people. They have, millions of dollars of rare Papes that they've been holding, or fake rares, or, XYZ counterparty collection, and then some ordinals as well. They will hold those assets natively in their Bitcoin wallet, and then they'll go to OpenSea or Emblem Markets and just look for resting bids, and they'll basically just vault the assets and accept the bid. But we're basically building a tool to where you can basically click one button and it'll vault the asset and accept the bid automatically. So making that system easier, obviously more revenue for us because it's vaulting revenue. Royalties are optional on ETH. So you want to get as many assets in vaults as possible to increase the TVL, which will then set us up pretty well for one of our Emblem applications that we want to release early next year.
Yeah, 100%. And that's going to be really cool as well. So right now, you guys have said a few things about next week, right? You said potential migrations. Is that set for next week, or is that maybe in November?
What'd you say? Say it again.
The next set of migrations. Is that for this upcoming week, or is that for the following week?
Yeah, November 4th is when
November 4th.
the
Okay.
group. These will be two teams migrating to Radium, 2 teams migrating to Bonk. We are building another migration group in the background for one of the partnerships that we will announce. It's still kind of maybe halfway through, but this one has a lot of teams. I think when this is announced, it will get probably very significant traction. So when the time is right, that will be announced. Obviously, don't want to fall into the same kind of trap we did with the Bonk Fund group, where we announced the partnership, but everyone was expecting them to basically announce the partnership, but that was not the way that they went about it. So I don't want to fall into that trap and, give people expectations or I want to manage those expectations a little bit better, but things do look very positive. And this is a very large team. We have a few kind of pretty large partnerships lined up for Migrate Fund. It's the product itself is much larger than I ever thought it would be. The whole team is actually quite surprised. It's really, really a winner here. It really gives us early kind of Emblem Vault vibes. That it's just organic traction. There's no adoption, and it doesn't mean we're lessening Hustle's participation. It has the same amount of development activity. This one is just immediate because it's positioned itself in the middle of kind of a 3-way giant battle between Jupiter, Pump Fund, and Radium, and we have relationships with all of them, and they're kind of growing in different frequencies.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you guys are very well positioned in the space, so that's a great thing. We're getting close to the end of this hour, but I'd love to give you a chance to give any other updates that we maybe haven't gone over for the ecosystem.
Yeah, one that's kind of evolving right now is yesterday we had a call. Probably shouldn't even say this, but it's fine. I'll give the alpha. We had a call with Adam yesterday, the creator of TokenWorks. The NFT strategies. He's very familiar with Emblem, very nice. He's been a Emblem Vault fan for a long time. So they've created something there that is the hottest thing to happen to NFTs in probably the last year. And he wants to use it and he agrees that the best thing forward is to use Emblem Vault to bring Bitcoin ordinals and counterparty collections to ETH for their different types of strategies. And so we are in conversations with some ordinal collections, but primarily the one that I'll say publicly is that we are working on a Nakamoto card strategy. He agrees, as well as our team agrees. Rare Pape has the same significance as CryptoPunks do. The difference is that Rare Pape is ERC 155, so they're working on it. And we'd like to start that relationship with a Nakamoto card strategy. Nakamoto card's currently around like a $200,000 floor. I think the last two sold for 150K and 100K. There's 300 total. We have about 90 that are vaulted. So it counts to about $20 million. I could see when this takes off that you could probably see another 50 to 100 being vaulted, which is very positive to our TVL, but also the Rare Pepe community is just a bunch of diamond handers. So I could see the value of the Nakamoto card probably go significantly higher. There's a few things we kind of have to work out on the development side, but it's something that he agrees on. And so it's cool to see, on the Bitcoin ordinal side, see things like Nakamoto or the Node Monkey strategy experimentation happen. But Emblem, we have the same opinion that we've been sharing for 5 years. And eventually, the ordinals community will get around it, that if you just vault your assets on ETH and start trading, you'll get a much more volume, significantly more volume, because all of the collectors that we talk with, people just don't want to buy it. They don't want to have to download Xverse wallet, and they don't want to have to buy it on Bitcoin and wait 10 minutes. If you vault it on ETH, it's instant, right? There's bids that you can do. And the ETH community has, 10x to 100x more liquidity on Ethereum NFTs. And then you also get included in all of these like airdrops and gamification and points programs and things like that. So maybe TokenWorks and these strategies will help introduce that. But ultimately, if you just take the ordinal collections and you vault a certain percentage of them, 10%, 20% on ETH, I think a lot of the ordinals community's pain will go away because you're now participating in the ETH ecosystem, and the ETH NFT community is a very big fan of Emblem. We're like a pretty big players in that market from a technology standpoint, and everyone is very big fans of it. And so every single NFT collector that we talk with tells us that the reason why they don't buy ordinals is that they just don't want to have to deal with the ecosystem. They don't want to have to worry about getting sniped. They don't want to have to worry about waiting 10, 20 minutes for a transaction. Sometimes right now it's obviously much lower because there's nothing in the blocks. And they don't want to have to download Xverse walls. Those are literally the three things that they tell us. So at some point in time, I think the ordinals community will have to experiment, or maybe some of the ordinal collections that we're talking with who go through the TokenWorks strategy will see significant traction, and maybe that'll change people's minds.
Do you ever see a day where 30% of like the top ordinal collections are mainly traded on Ethereum?
Yeah, I think that's like the ultimate outcome for NFTs. I mean, ETH mainnet is the hub of NFTs. I don't think that's going to change. I only think that's going to continue to grow. I think NFT finance is going to continue to grow on ETH mainnet as well. I actually think the high gas costs are a premium to that. Like when you think about trading real world NFTs, so physical items, right? There is a big commission fee no matter where you're trading. If you're selling items at Sotheby's auction house, you have to pay, the buyer has to pay 20%, right? If you're going and listing on Etsy or eBay, they take a few percentage points. And so you take the gas cost relative to the value of the asset. And it's very similar to the markets that are trading, and people want their NFTs to be secure. They're much more precious to people than fungible tokens are. And, you look at the Runes ecosystem, right? And Runes is bridging their assets to all of these different areas. I don't know why you wouldn't want to do that with NFTs. Rare Pepe community is smart because they're not tribalistic, and they're like, hey, I want our collection to be listed in literally the largest NFT marketplace in the world and most liquid, which is ETH. Why would you not want that for your NFT collections, right? Like, to me, it's the tribalism is what's getting in the way. And we're starting to see, at least through our conversations, that a few of the ordinal collections are finally starting to come to that realization. And so if any other teams have that, they could come talk to us and we can help figure out the fastest way to allow that. But I'm not joking. Every collection that has a substantial amount of volume or traction, generally does pretty well on ETH. And so I think eventually over time, that'll be the way. You don't have to have the whole collection. I'd say, 10 to 20% is really all that's needed for people to speculate. It's just like, look at Dog on Solana. There's like 1 or 2% of the volume on Solana, but the Solana has like 4,000 or 5,000 holders, right? Which is a pretty significant amount. So you could do the same thing with NFTs and be fine. So I think that time's probably going to come at some point next year.
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know if it's sad or not, but like, NFTs kind of started, they obviously started on Bitcoin, right? And they didn't want the market for it because they didn't want to have to, optimize it for that. And so ETH said, we'll take it. And they did,
Yeah.
So it's like one of those things that, they weren't first, but they were the first that made significant impact. And that's why it's still there.
To me, it's just like, why would you not want to have your items listed in every spot possible? So that's something that we're going to do as we expand with Emblem 2.0 is we'll start with Rare Pepes, because they believed in us, we believe in them. We'll put Rare Pepe on every single chain. So every single chain can bid on Rare Pepes, and then users can hold their Rare Pepe assets natively and use our premier tooling to look at the bids across all the different marketplaces and figure out where they want to sell it. For us, I don't care where people want to sell it. We just want to give people options and liquidity. And the communities and collection owners that realize this are the ones that are going to find the profit at the end of the day.
Yeah, man, 100%. Well, thank you so much, Jake, man. Really appreciate your time, and I will see you next week.
Yeah, see you guys next week. Have a good one.
See you, Jake.
You too.
Absolutely awesome as always. Dude, definitely my favorite hour of the week. I feel like, the beginning of the show, whatever, was just like, we're just sitting there talking about, well, there's no people here. There's no, there's no price action movement. There's no one doing anything. And then you talk to Jake and you hear about all the building that's happening from his side of stuff. And they're just excited. I mean, it's awesome to talk to somebody who's actually excited right now because there's not many that are. And Jake just seems excited about Migrate Fund. He's excited about Emblem Vault again. He's even excited about Agent Hustle, and he knows where all the barriers are, and he wants to break down all the barriers to kind of make this thing even more explosive on EVM and all the other places, and Migrate Fund now with potential partners in other places. It just seems like he's very excited about the future, and it's really awesome to kind of talk to somebody who is, because right now I'm not, especially about the near future. So that's really cool.
Yeah, and he's been through a lot in the space, so he has the experience of kind of the crazy ups and crazy downs, and he's has all the knowledge of the historical NFT stuff. So all that stuff he talks about with the NFT sector, you got to listen to him, because him and Adam, they're all very educated on that. And you got to learn every time he jumps on the show, because he's been here. He has that experience. So I appreciate that hour too that he gives up, because he's a busy man. He don't have to do that. And that's the thing, on our show, we are able to have him. We are able to have the founder of Merlin Chain on, the founder of SaaS Terminal with Stan on. So that's something that we try to do, is bring the founders directly to you guys. So yeah,
100%.
Good way to wrap up the week.
Yeah, man. Another week in the books. Very boring week. Hopefully next week. What do you think, man? You think next week we're gonna be the same way, or do you think we're maybe have some excitement?
I don't want to say anything because I feel like I jinx it now. It's like, I'm hoping that energy picks back up. But again, I think people should pay attention to builders like that. Builders that are doing things, building for the future of the space. So
100%. All right, guys. On that note, check out our partners.
Yep, for sure. Appreciate each and every one of you guys for supporting us, even on the slow days. You guys are always here to support, and we appreciate that. If you could check out our partners, we would greatly appreciate it, because they allow us to do this as well, Monday through Friday. SaaS Terminal is the DEX aggregator swap of the Bitcoin ecosystem. If you're looking to swap Bitcoin fungible tokens like Bitcoin Runes, Alkanes, and now Spark tokens, you got to do it at satsterminal.com. You can earn Amber points, or you will earn Amber points if you use their swap. The first time you connect your wallet to it, you will get a bonus of Amber points, and Amber points are going to go towards a give back for early adopters of the platform. These guys are constantly busy because they are aggregating from everybody, right? So that's why you got to be familiar with their swap, because once the Spark ecosystem starts to take off, they're going to be aggregating from all of the launch pads there. Also, they have an amazing Bitcoin borrowing product that you can, take a loan out against your Bitcoin. You can get some stables and buy more Bitcoin if you want, or if you want to save those stables until things get hot again, hopefully sooner than later. You can do that, right? You just don't have to sell your Bitcoin. That's the option that they give you with this product. So check it out there at satsterminal.com. And then Emblem Vault is the interoperability layer of the Bitcoin ecosystem. You can jump your Bitcoin ordinals or counterparty NFTs, Bitcoin NFTs, over to Ethereum. Right now, you can take a loan out against your Taproot Wizard on the Gandhi application. They're offering that product with loans. And then they're going to be opening up to other environments as well, other EVMs, and Solana is on that roadmap as well. And speaking of Solana, they have the best AI product in the Solana ecosystem called Agent Hustle. If you go to agenthustle.ai, you can ask Hustle, hey, find me some good plays in the Solana trenches if there are any. And if there are any, he will find you some. He will bring back some options and why he thinks these are solid options there. Also, there is a conditional trading engine built in Agent Hustle, so you can do buy and sell limit orders for these meme tokens. Also, there are different subscription levels to Hustle. There's a free subscription level. I didn't realize this. You get most of all the tool sets, but you only get 10 prompts a day, something like that, to test out. But if you want more prompts and more tools, then you get into the paid subscription there, and you get a discount if you use the Hustle token to pay. And the Hustle token is the single token that powers the entire Emblem ecosystem. Make sure you check out the tutorial video with Soul Maverick that we had recorded last night. We'll drop it over the weekend. And then there's the third product, which is Migrate.fun. If you have launched a token in the Pump Fund or Bonk, or any launchpad really that locks liquidity up in Solana's ecosystem, Migrate.fun can help you migrate with your community to a new launchpad, or just to a new LP that you manage, so you can earn all of the fees yourself. They just finished their first cohort. Things went really smooth. Got some big names in there like Monopoly Money that rebranded, and the second one with KiteAI, I just checked them out again. They're at like 18 million. So there's a lot of these big branded token communities in Solana that are using this. So if they're trusting Migrate.fun, you can too. So just go check it out. If you need a walkthrough, reach out to the team at Migrate.fun and ask them to give you a breakdown, right, of how it works. But they guide you through the entire process. They're about to kick off their second cohort. Some exciting news coming out of that one, but we'll let them announce any of that detail, but it's just coming up. So if you want to get involved with the future cohort, reach out to them. Head over to emblem.vision to learn about all the products I just broke down within their ecosystem. And then there's Merlin Chain. Merlin Chain's uniting Bitcoin strength through the power of AI with their Wizard version 2.0. You can use the Wizard to trade cross-chain. You can trade for Solana tokens and BSC tokens as well, BNB tokens. All you have to do is have some Merlin Bitcoin in your wallet. And then also the Wizard can guide you through the Merlin Chain ecosystem. It can do DeFi functionalities on your behalf, like swap and stake. And speaking of staking, they have a proof of stake security model that you can participate in. There's 3 ways to do so. They have the staking Bitcoin to earn more Bitcoin, which on that first staking vault that ended September 30th, they got on average 17% APR for all of their stakers. So amazing APR for staking Bitcoin. They have the second staking vault open right now. They're going to shoot for that similar APR. Maybe it's higher, maybe it's a little bit lower, but they're going to do their best for that, right? It is locked up about 3 months. I think it locks up until January 8th of 2026, but you want to participate because it's filling up pretty quick. I think it closes at 150. I think there's 110 Bitcoin or something like that in there right now. So check it out, because that's a great opportunity in my opinion. And then there's 2 other options for staking Merlin Chain tokens. The first one is the flexible day-to-day. You earn 15% APR on this one. You can withdraw any day, but there's a 7-day cooldown period until you get your tokens back. You can actually withdraw your rewards every day. You can claim those rewards every day. You can either keep them in your wallet, or you can compound interest those if you'd like. And then there's the 6-month lockup, which is called the bonded option. You earn 45% APR in that option. And you can do the same thing, claim them every day and roll them up if you want. None of that's financial advice, but we want to break down the details of the staking options there, as I believe those are good options. And then head over to merlinchain.io to learn more about the ecosystem and their staking vaults. and check them out on X as well. Thank you guys so much for checking out our partners on this Friday.
Yep. If you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out OnChainRevolution.io, some of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you know someone just entering a space, please send them our website. Really feel like help me get started. Brand new article dropped this week. Crypto Outlook: Why the Next 90 Day Could Ignite. This is a must-read article. They're about 3 to 4 minute reads. Jump in here. You can read a bunch of them, airdrops and a whole bunch more. Just go one by one. You can knock them all out in a few hours. So definitely want to be a part of that if you can. And on top of that, we have a nice VPN for you guys. If you ever want to use Hyperliquid and they geo-block you, everyone use MEXC, they geo-block you. Now using a VPN, using this VPN right here, Nord, you can set your location to El Salvador. I right now like to use Italy. I actually use Italy too because on TikTok you actually get like a lot of cool things through TikTok through Italy. People are like live streaming from the church and stuff like that. So it's kind of really cool to kind of see that stuff, especially if you haven't been there or you're planning to be there. You can actually put yourself anywhere in the world and find someone live streaming from a place that potentially you want to visit one day. So that was a really cool thing that I saw because I was using Italy with the VPN. And on top of that, you can use any product in the world. It doesn't matter because as long as there's no KYC, you can get in there and use it with a VPN. So stop getting geo-blocked. Your privacy is your choice. You get to be anywhere in the world when you're using a VPN. And on top of that, if you have, we have some of the best merch in all of crypto. We're going to be adding some more stuff here soon, so check us out. If there's anything you want us to add, I want an Ethereum shirt, I want an Ethereum hat, just let us know. We can pretty much add anything here to the site for you guys. I want to add my PFP. We can add your PFP for you. Just let us know. But that is everything I got, man. And guys, remember, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. Until Monday.
Peace.
OnChain Revolution roll call. Market recap. You're not bullish enough, no. You're not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go, Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear traps. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. OnChain Revolution.